I might take a pill.
And check during the break with that sound. See if there's anything significant like Rory PGA, because it usually has everything. If there's PGA, if we do a PGA segment, we might want sound for that. So be checking that thing, Felipe. That's if we can get on that. That's a huge asset to the show. Huge.
Well, it's not really like a list. It's more just like audio from like Sports Center.
That's fine.
Like it's the same audio. I would have to find it.
Okay, then that's not exactly what I'm talking about, because they have a bank of AP sound that they usually get things from.
Okay, I'll see if I can access it. We're going live.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to ya. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Heck of a sports week. Heck of a sports day. Heat get it done again. Jimmy Buckets. And now the Panthers, who spent all day yesterday wearing Heat garb. Now it's their turn on the road tonight, where they haven't lost in seemingly forever. Miller and Moulton. How the heck are you, Mark?
Not as good as Jimmy Butler, but then again, who is, David? Holy cow, what a performance last night. The scoring was fantastic, but the defense, the steals, number of times he was able to turn the Celtics over last night was key in that game.
All right, if I were to tell you right now the Miami Heat win the NBA title, how crazy does that sound?
It sounds fat blank crazy, David.
Really?
It really does.
Really?
Yes.
After what we've witnessed for the last month. If I had said that 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, but after what we have now witnessed, listen, I know I can overanalyze the three-car funeral, the whole deal. This is the most remarkable playoff run in the NBA that I've seen from a team since Michael with the Bulls in '89. That was the first time that the Bulls did something in the postseason. That was when he hit the shot over Elo and they beat a really good Cavs team in the first round. And then they beat a 50-something win Knicks team in the second round, where they stole game one in New York and held serve at home and won in 6. And then it was the Pistons' time, baby. The Pistons had paid their dues. They were the team. They had gotten through the Celtics the year before, lost in a crushing 7-game finals to the Lakers, and 89 Pistons. It was their year. And Michael and the Bulls went up 1-0 and 2-1. And we were all looking at one another going, is Michael Jordan him and 4 guys are going to go to the finals? This is the most remarkable team run from a team come on, they're not going to do anything.
I mean, even our resident Heat homer had called him losing the first round series. Even Philly didn't give him a shot against the Bucks. And they get through Milwaukee.
Right, Milwaukee, best record in the league. Right. They beat a solid Knicks team, not a very good, great team at all, but they beat a solid team. I mean, it made mincemeat of the Cavs. Cavs won over 50 games. The Knicks whooped them in 5. I mean, Knicks pretty good team. He said, we got this. Then they went into Boston. The preseason favorite, along with the Bucks, to win the title. mean, remember, the Celtics beat them last year. Celtics better than last year. Heat not as good as last year. Paul in our Twitch chat room says, what about Iverson and the Sixers? Philly was the 1 seed that year. I mean, that's the thing. Michael and the Bulls, I think, were a 7 seed. They were a 6 or a 7 seed in 89 when they were 2 games away from the finals. I mean, that was like the Heat this year. That was like a 45-win Bulls team. Iverson and the Sixers, they were the 1 seed in the East when they got to the finals. I mean, this doesn't happen in the NBA. This happens in hockey. You can be a 7-8 seed in hockey. We got it going on with the Panthers. You get a goalie, you get a goalie on a roll. We've seen 8 seeds win the cup in hockey.
It's why David and I have always talked about the fact that the hockey playoffs start off at such a fever pitch and actually, I don't want to say get worse, but through injuries, it just seems as it's harder. And the playoffs don't have the same jump sometimes as they go on, where the basketball playoffs usually continue to get better. This year, throw that out. Basketball playoffs from day one have delivered.
Ambient saying, how about LeBron and the Cavs in 07? Possibly. But to me, it's literally every round, though. Like LeBron and the Cavs looked overmatched when they got to the conference finals that year. It looked like, well, how are they going to beat Detroit? I mean, Detroit's been in 5 straight conference finals. I mean, come on, Detroit's better than Cleveland. How's this team going to get past Detroit? And LeBron said, I'll take it from here. Thank you. That was really one round that LeBron said, follow me, boys. This is 2+ now. I mean, this doesn't happen in the NBA, what is happening right now. And it is awesome. And I'm a Knicks fan. And I'm fired up watching Heat games.
Hard not to. The way Jimmy Butler is playing and the way the team follows him. They're fearless.
Yes, they are.
They really are.
Celtics go on that run late second quarter, and you're thinking, well, okay, Miami gave it their best shot, but Boston's better. Hey, what are we going to do? Boston's better. They're up 9 at the half at home. They're better. He said, whatever, dude. Whatever.
Franchise record 46 points in the third quarter. In Boston, game 1. Coming out of the half. Light them up for 46.
Man, is it impressive to watch. Brian in our Twitch chat room brought up the 99 Knicks, who were an 8 seed. But that was a strange year. That was a strike year. They only played 50 games in the regular season. The Heat were the 1 seed. The Knicks were the 8 in the first round. The difference between the two teams, 5 games in the standings. I mean, that was a strange year. And besides, if you look at that Knicks team, that was not an 8 seed. That team was loaded. But remember, they got beat badly at home on a Tuesday night play-in by the Atlanta Hawks. And they're losing. They're losing, approaching the last media timeout, if you will, in the fourth quarter at home to the Bulls a month ago. This season's over. This team is a staggering disappointment. Where are they going to go from here? Riley's got no assets. How's he going to redo this roster? Are the Heat about to begin a 3-year period of abyss? That's where they were a month ago.
And what usually happens, this is, the other side of this last night, and Jimmy Butler, obviously, his performance incredible, but the way they shot the 3-ball last night usually doesn't happen on the road, David. And in game 1, they were 16 for 31 beyond the arc.
Right.
Come on.
Once again, we said which Heat team we're going to see. We're going to see the team against Milwaukee. That team shows up shooting the ball. Hell, who can't they beat? Remember, 46% from beyond the arc, 54% from the field for the series. Or like, how about if the team against the Knicks shows up? 31% from beyond the arc. That team's getting beat by the Celtics. Hey, this baby's over. They got no shot. And the Heat said, yeah, the Milwaukee team's going to show up. We told you, we're going to spread them out. Jimmy's going to drive and get 3 guys around the perimeter, and we're just going to keep shooting it. We can make these shots, We really are pretty good. We just don't make them consistently.
Unbelievable.
It is so impressive. So impressive what they are doing right now. Yeah, I know it's one game, but golly. I mean, the Celtics knocked them down in the second quarter. They went on a 15-2 run, and basically they looked at Miami going, seriously, come on. I mean, you don't have what we have. I mean, nice story, hell of a coach. Okay, Jimmy Butler, you're awesome, but come on. You're not in our league. And the Heat said, blank you.
And Butler takes Tatum for basically the whole game.
Yep.
Tatum doesn't get a bucket in the fourth quarter.
Right. I hear that's a clutch time of the game, by the way.
Seems to be an important part of the game.
That's what I've heard.
And what did he have? 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter, Tatum? He threw the ball away a couple of times, walked a couple of times.
It's as if we've paid attention before. What did we say? Jimmy Butler for 3 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, they're going to put him on Tatum. Maybe I feel as if we need to help Joe Mazzulla. We told him the adjustment he needed to make against the Sixers. He finally listened to us. We told him what the Heat were going to do, for goodness sakes, in this game. I mean, if you left the 2 of us alone on the court, I don't know if we could beat air in a game of horse. Come on, Joe. Snap out of it.
Yeah, but come on, Jason Tatum. You got to. Some of that's on coaching, sure. The other side of it's on your star player to deliver in the fourth quarter. He didn't attempt a field goal in the fourth quarter, David.
Well, Jimmy Butler's annoying. He just couldn't shake him. When Eric Spoelstra shows up at the post-game podium, when they do stuff like this, I sit down, I look at him, I go, this is the greatest bank robber in the 21st century right here. That's what he looks like to me. He's just sitting down, good-looking guy, sheepish grin on his face. Just playing hard. They're a really good team. They're tough. And it's as if there's a little voice in the back going, so are you serious? I love this story. They keep winning as far as I'm concerned. Just keep winning, guys, honestly. This would be an all-timer. All-timer.
I'm just looking at the 3-point shooting. Vincent, 3 of 5. Love, 2 of 3. Butler, 2 of 4. Strus, 3 of 5. Caleb Martin, 3 of 7. Lowry, 3 of 5. I mean, Duncan Robinson's the only guy. He was 0 of 2. Just remarkable from beyond the arc. Absolutely remarkable.
They're going to have to keep doing it, and it's not easy to do, but they did it to Milwaukee. Who says they can't do it to Boston? 1 down, 3 to go, baby. Ha ha. Miller and Moulton got a lot to kick around.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Paul, that's a crime against humanity right there. I don't know what to tell you.
What?
You stayed up. Boy, that's impressive, RCB. The game was over at 9:30.
Well, maybe 10.
Yeah, it did go 10 innings.
And it didn't start till 7:10, so. Oh, yeah, RCB. By the way, that Bulls team in 89, they were the 6th seed. They finished 5th in their division. They won 47 games. Heat Lakers, Heat of home court. Yeah, that's why Elton Brand West is no longer the GM of the Sixers.
RCB, so do we.
Right. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Big win last night, David, forcing a game 3.
Oh, no.
So had to laugh. You know, the old apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. The Karen who has yelled at me and the other coach on our team.
Right.
Her daughter, when they lose, goes through the line where you say good game and says bad game, bad game, bad game if they lose. It's Karen's daughter. I know exactly. I'm like, looked at the coach that she yelled at there, and I said to him, I go, yep. I go, he goes, well, that's pleasant, isn't it? I go, you know whose kid it is, don't you? He goes, oh, yeah. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree now, does it? I says, nope, not at all. She's going to be a peach when she grows up in that household.
Yeah, but Ambien, at least the NHL moved the Panthers away from the Heat. I mean, you know. The other thing Ambien is that the NBA and NHL playoffs are both shown on the same 2 networks. So there's really no way to avoid this going forward. ESPN and Turner have both the NBA and NHL playoffs. So one's televised in one night, the other's televised in the other. So the conference finals will always be this way.
I will have to say, David, my daughter's a gamer. The one who did not want to win the game played maybe her best game of the year. So there's no way she can throw games. It's not in her DNA. I was pretty proud to see that.
Why not walk them? First and second, one out. You don't want to put the tying run at second where a single ties the game. Besides, Alonso was 0 for 4, sitting 227. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat. Threw a slider for a strike, came back with an out of the strike zone 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Alonso said, oh, I got this. Okay.
Come back.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Paul Azinger will join us. 30 years ago, he won the PGA. PGA getting underway, I don't know, about 40 minutes or so. Is it above freezing yet?
Ooh.
In Rochester?
I wasn't ready for that update. It is currently 32 in Rochester, New York. It feels like it's 27, David.
Ha ha! Imagine being on the range right now. You're a pro golfer. You live in Florida, maybe Arizona. Uh-huh. Yep.
But it's a dry 32, David.
Man, that bag's got about 20, 30 extra pounds in it. The caddy's going, what the hell? Guy's got clothes, man. Clothes. Hell, did you bring my ski poles? Damn. So, talk to Zinger about Oak Hill. He played an Open and a PGA there. Coming up at the top of our 8 o'clock hour, JP Shadrick will join us as well. Talk about the stadium situation in Jacksonville. Apparently, they're going to redo their stadium.
So I was reading an article about that yesterday on jagswire.com or something like that, and it listed 5 places for them to play.
Huh.
And I'm like, 5? Well, they had 2, they had the Bounce House in Orlando. They had the old Citrus Bowl Camping World Stadium. There's the 2 Orlandos. They had the Swamp. They had Doak Campbell, which I thought was a hell of a stretch.
Although it's 150 miles, it's 2 hours on I-10 due west. It's not, put it this way, door to door from like downtown Jacksonville. All right, it would take a little longer to get to Doak Campbell only because it would take you 20 minutes from the highway to get to the stadium parking lot. But it's not much further Tallahassee than Orlando from Jacksonville.
Okay, all right. But then the 5th is Wembley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, because there was a crazy proposal. There's actually an old track and field stadium on the campus of North Florida.
Yeah.
And the politicians who are saying, yeah, they're not leaving town.
Yeah,
the Jags will play their games here. Oh, where are you going to play them? Well, they can play over at Hodges Stadium. I went to visit it. They were having a track and field tournament there last week. I'm like, this is going to be problematic. Never mind the fact we've got parking for 137. This is going to be rough.
Well, I saw Wembley and I went, ooh, they're going to go play there for 2 years and never leave.
And Khan's going to go, look at all this revenue. So we'll talk to JP Shadrick about that coming up in our 8 o'clock hour as well. Hey, listen, we tried to tell Joe Mazzulla what was coming from the Heat. He's not listening to us. We tried to tell the Rays front office and even David Sampson, listen, don't look at the standings. We got cracks in the foundation here. We got too many pitchers on the IL too early in the season. Go get some help now when no one's shopping. You'll have the whole aisles 4, 5, 6, and 7 all to yourself. Anybody watch the end of the Rays Mets game?
Sure did, David. Sure did.
Mark, the Rays had a lot of leads.
A lot of leads. They were up 2-0, 4-2. What?
2-0 in the 7th. Oh,
Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you still got a lot of game left. All right. Rookie gets called up, hits a 2-run homer to tie it. All right. Good for him. Rays come right back. 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. 5-2 lead going to the 9th.
Yep.
All right. This baby's over. Right? No. 2 outs, 2 on. Rookie catcher. Hits what, about 440 feet? Oh, wow. Good for him. You know what? Hell of a story. Okay, let's go to extra innings. Ray said, oh, yeah, we got this still. They scored 2 in the top of the 10th. Had a 7-5 lead. Okay. We're going to bring in a guy who hasn't given up a run since July. Now, granted, he's been on the IL for the last 3 weeks. Right? He only pitched the first 4 weeks of the season, but you get the idea. Finished last year strong, started this year strong. It's our closer if he's healthy. Pete Fairbanks, he's our guy. Yeah, he gave up a 3-run homer. 2-0, 5-2, 7-5. 8-7 Mets in 10. First extra inning loss for the Rays this year. First really bad loss, right? I mean, they blew that 6-run lead to the Yankees in the middle innings, but that kind of felt like turnabout's fair play because they had done it to the Yankees like 6 days earlier. So it's like, okay, we're even.
Yeah, but
plus Rizzo hit the game-winning homer in the 8th. You know, it wasn't a walk-off.
That's a pretty big lead to give up. I think these are 1 and 1A.
Okay.
The fact that they're both New York teams, too, adds a little to the ribs, if you know what I mean.
But, you know, not only that, you know, the guy who hit the tying homer in the 9th, you know, he's hitting in the 9 hole. You know, no big deal or anything. Right. Sometimes, by the way, you just got to tip your hat. Like Fairbanks, he was facing a guy who was second in the majors in home runs in Pete Alonso. So it's not like he's not a threat. Starts him off with his best slider, 86 miles an hour on the corner for a strike. And then he comes back with his best fastball out of the strike zone, too, above the belt. 97 miles an hour. That ball's still traveling. Fairbanks' turn, looked at that sucker like, I'll be damned. Man, that's impressive. That was not a bad pitch. I mean, it was kind of outer part of the plate, but, you know, 97's 97.
97 up in the strike zone, a little bit out of the strike zone, and Alonso's able to get to it and turn on it.
All right. After I just showed him my best slider, too. I mean, there was 11-mile-an-hour difference between this pitch and that pitch. They say if you can have a 10-mile-an-hour difference, it's really tough to hit. Huh. I'll be damned. Because the old Bull Durham line, that thing had a stewardess on it. Woo! So I don't know. You know, it's just Miller and Moulton. We don't know what we're talking about, but we think it might be time to find a reliever or two. We're just sensing, you know, some cracks in the dam. That's all. Still 20 games above 500. Life's still great. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. Just an idea. You and Joe Mazzulla, ponder it over. Get back to us. See what you think.
And I think David Sampson's probably right in his analysis that the Rays aren't going to go out and do anything right now because it's not who they are, it's not what they do. But the fact of the matter is, you look over the course of the last week, the bullpen has struggled mightily.
Bullpen ERA first 5 weeks of the season was right around 3. Bullpen ERA right now closer to 4. Just saying. Starters on the IL. Starters aren't going as deep into games as they were, believe it or not, a month ago. Just saying.
Now, Glasnow pitched another rehab start. He looks like he's closer to coming back. I think he pitched 4 scoreless innings in Durham the other day, so he is on the horizon of coming back to Tampa, which will help.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey, this could just be a rough patch, Mark. Haven't we all had a rough patch? Maybe this is just a patch. I don't know. All I know is aisles 4 and 5 are wide open. I can get anything I want. I got one of the 3 deepest farm systems in baseball. Just do a little shopping.
And not window shopping. We need some buying, not some shopping. Miller and Moulton, the starting 5 coming up on the other side. Thanks for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, Florida State landed Sparty's receiver there in the portal.
Mm-hmm. Beat out Ole Miss.
And Sparty had a D back. They lost to Arkansas, a kid that committed to him from TCU, flipped and went to Arkansas. Tuck coming, ain't happening.
NIL, baby. NIL, getting a better deal.
Ishbia, let's go.
Come on now. Too much money on the Suns. Arch, you don't think that, I mean, the Nats, the Royals, the A's, I mean, we can go through 6-7 teams here would make deals. I mean, they would.
I think the Tigers would.
I think the Tigers would.
Especially if you're teasing the Tigers with some prospects that, you know, because the Tigers are still a year or two away.
I'd be willing to make a major deal with the Tigers. I'd be willing to take the lefty Rodriguez off their hands.
It's a good pitcher.
Who's got multiple years left on his deal, too. RCB, there was one out. If there was 2 outs, it would be controversial because you put the tying run at second, but maybe. But first and second, 1 out, up 7-5. And you want to walk them? A single ties the game. I don't think you can do it. Two outs, maybe. Maybe. But the other thing is, RCB, he hasn't been hot in the last week. He's actually been scuffling. Pearson's going to the PGA today.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's with Bielema at Illinois now.
Right. Was he just a little vacay?
Because he's from that neck of the
Right.
woods. So, yeah.
You know who sucks right now? The San Diego Padres.
You lose a series at home to the Royals, you're struggling.
Oh, wow. Bases loaded, 2 outs for the Padres in that game. Wild pitch. Karam's off the back wall, right back to the catcher. They tagged the runner out at home. And Machado fractures his left hand.
Did he really?
Could require IL stint. Hitting the left hand by a pitch.
Oh.
Would you just watch it?
No, I'm watching a guy at a mall fell from the second level down to the first level, landed on the tile, apparently stole something from the Apple store. He can't move. Oh, snap.
There you go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Paul Azinger and JP Shadrick to join us in our 8 o'clock hour. A lot to kick around between now and then. Text line open 21,000. 21000. If you've never texted us before, you need to type in the keyword FSN radio, all one word, with your 21,000, and there you go. You're in. You're through the security gate. And you can always watch us, take us in, chime in. Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
the Miami Heat, baby, are number 1. Hell, they might be 1 and 2. This remarkable playoff run continues. Celtics broke open a tie game late first half with a 15-2 run. Boston led by 9 at the half. They had scored 66 points in the first half. Looked like Miami didn't have any answers. I said, don't have any answers. Are you serious? 46 points in the third quarter for the Heat. That's a half. They did it in a quarter. Outscored Boston 46-25. Took a 12-point lead into the final quarter. Boston got within a couple possessions a couple times, but
Every time they did, they turned it over.
123-116, Miami. They shot 54% for the game, 51% from beyond the arc, 16 of 31. Thank you very much. Jimmy Buckets, otherwise known as Jimmy Butler.
I don't know. I like
points.
Jimmy Butler better.
You like Butler?
He is him. Himmy Butler. He is him.
Himmy Butler with 35, outplaying Jason Tatum.
I'm surprised Philly has not shown up with a Himmy shirt yet. Has it been ordered yet, Philly?
Ooh. I have the jersey. I need to get the
No, the Himmy shirt, though.
the Himmy shirt. Yeah. I might get a custom jersey and put Himmy on the back.
6 in double figures for the Heat. They lead the Eastern Conference Finals, one spit. This is what they did the first two rounds. Went on the road, won game one. Game two tomorrow in Boston. We'll say it again. Celtics last 21 playoff games, 10 and 11 at home. I will say Heat need to win at least one more in Boston. Boston will get one of the three in Miami.
You can book it.
I mean, they went 2-1 in Atlanta. They went 2-1 in Philadelphia. Should have went 3-0 in Philadelphia as they blew the end of game four. I mean, for whatever reason, they played their best basketball on the road. I don't think Miami can do what they did. You know, they got up 1-0 on Milwaukee, and they basically, held serve at home, and they put the Bucks away in 5. They got up 1-0 on the Knicks, held serve at home, put them away in 6. I don't. Mark, you think they can, just hold serve at home now and win this series in 6?
I still think Boston's going to win the series. Miami lost game one or won game one last year against the Celtics and would go on to lose the series. I think Boston's a better team. I am so unbelievably impressed with what the Heat are doing that it's, my eyes are telling me something different than what reading about it tells me, because you're going to tell me that Miami's going to shoot over 50% from beyond the arc. Well, then they're going to win the series. I just don't see that happening.
46% from beyond the arc against the Bucks, 31% from beyond the arc against the Knicks. Which Heat team shows up? In game one was the Milwaukee team. We'll see.
It's the doubt that fuels Jimmy, Mark.
You're absolutely right. He loves it. He loves being the villain, and they feed off of him being the villain. There's no doubt. He loves this.
He is the guy in the Western who's coming to town, who's looking you straight in the face going, I am walking in the bank. I am robbing it. I'm taking all your money. On the way out, I am ripping the diamond necklace off of your wife's neck. We are getting back on these horses and we are leaving town.
Jimmy Butler, Tomball, Texas.
And you're standing there with guns going, the hell are you talking about? You're not going to make it across the street. And Jimmy's like, just watch me. Just watch me. Game 2 tonight in Denver. Nuggets, they've never been in this position before in the Western Conference Finals, up 1-0. They're 7-0 at home, Mark. Can they keep on keeping on? 5.5-point favorites against the Lakers. 8:30 ESPN, if you're interested. By the way, LeBron James has been down 1-0 21 previous times in his playoff history. His teams are 12-9. Just saying. James Harden has let everybody know he's going to decline his $35.6 million option to remain with the Sixers, and he's going to become a free agent. I will say, if you look at the stat sheet, he did average 21 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds a game. He led the league in assists while averaging 21 points and 6 boards. I mean, on the stat sheet, He looks like he's a pretty damn productive player. Sometimes on the court, though, he looks old and fat and out of shape and disinterested.
And he's opting out because he thinks he's going to get a 4-year contract out of Philadelphia.
Or somewhere else, and he thinks he's going to get like 160
This guy's
million.
in Philadelphia, though.
It's true. It's true. Hockey tonight, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals. Florida Panthers are in Carolina. Carolina's a solid favorite to win the series. They're a solid favorite to win tonight. Yet the Panthers are 6-1 on the road in the playoffs, including having won their last 6. Games 2, 5, and 7 in Boston. Games 1, 2, and 5 in Toronto. How the hell do you not bet the Panthers tonight? Even though the Canes are 5-1 at home. 8 o'clock TNT, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. By the way, the Coyotes, through gritted teeth, said, we don't know what we're going to do, except we know we're going to play in Arizona this year.
At Mullet Arena.
Yeah. Capacity 5,000. And that's standing room. Trust me, I've been there. Capacity is like 4,500. It's cute, though. I mean, it is. I mean, you think you're watching the Florida Everblades play the Orlando Solar Bears in the ECHL, and you go, wow, the talent's a little better, though. But, I mean, it's got that kind of feel to it.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. It's an embarrassment, and Gary Bettman should be ashamed of himself.
He should, and you should be willing to admit defeat. But Gary Bettman is as stubborn, more stubborn. David Stern, Gary Bettman.
David Stern, only because Gary Bettman learned how to be stubborn from David Stern.
Touche, Mark, touche. Golf PGA Championship. You know, I wrote down underway today. But technically right now, not underway for 2 reasons. A, it's dark. But B, it's cold. How cold is it, you ask? Well, they've got a frost delay.
Still 32 in Rochester with a wind chill of 27.
There you go. There you go. This is the NHL's outdoor games, Florida and Carolina. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the PGA Championship. Apparently by, about 8:30, it's going to start warming up. Apparently it's going to get into the 60s today.
No.
Oh, that's what I saw. 63, 64. No.
High of 58.
Oh, okay.
Won't even make it there.
Compared to 32, 58 is going to feel like 74. Oak Hill Country Club, Rochester, New York. Rain Saturday with temperatures 50s and 60s on Saturday. So cold today, and then rainy and cold Saturday. Friday and Sunday apparently look pretty good. Jordan Spieth played 9 practice holes yesterday, said his right wrist, quote, good enough to play. So obviously he's not healthy.
Yeah, don't put a dime on him.
No. 29-year-old, if he could win the PGA, he'd win the career Grand Slam. He'd be the 6th golfer to ever do it. Name the other 5. I mean, come on. 2, 3 of them are easy. I mean, Jack and Tiger. Come on now. Gary Player, Ben Hogan, Gene Sarazen. Whole bunch of guys. Palmer and Watson, by the way, were a PGA short of winning the career Grand Slam. Phil, of course, is a U.S. Open short. But just saying. Mark Miller's pick, Tony Finau. What the odds you get? 20 what to 1? 28?
28 to 1.
And Cam
You're
Young,
better odds than that with Cam Young. You're
32 to 1, right?
Cam Young? Cashing a big ticket.
That's steaming deal there. Mark Miller with the stat of the day yesterday. Last 7 major champions were all in their 20s. Last time that happened in golf, 100 years ago.
Yeah, the 20s.
Right, 21 through 23. We told you about it last segment. Hate to bring it up again. Rays blew a 2-0 lead in the 7th, a 5-2 lead in the 9th, and a 7-5 lead in the 10th. Pete Alonso with a 3-run homer off Pete Fairbanks. 8-7 Mets in 10. First extra inning loss of the year for the Rays. They're still 20 games over 500. Scoreless in the bottom of the 10th, north of the border. Danny Jansen with a 3-run walk-off for the Jays over the Yankees, 3-0. Boston scored 6 in the second, beat Seattle 12-3. Trout homered for the Angels' only run. They're back to 500. Remember, they don't start winning. Guys start asking to get traded. 3-1 Orioles, who are 13 games above 500. Thank you very much. 3.5 back in the East. Marlins, Jorge Soler. Second game in a row. His 2-run shot put him up for good. They held off Washington 4-3. They're
It's
above
another
500.
1-run victory.
What's that, 16-1, something like that?
15 or 16-1.
Ridiculous. They had the worst record in 1-run games in baseball last year. That's why Mattingly got fired. Braves rallied 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. Orlando Arcia with a homer in the 9th to beat Texas 6-5. Giants 3 in the 8th handed the Phillies their 4th loss in a row, 7-4. Cardinals have won 8 of 10. 3-0 over Milwaukee. Tough loss for the Cubs, who really needed a win, too. They're scuffling. They're up 6-1 in the 8th. Give up 2 in the 8th, 4 in the 9th. Lose to Houston 7-6. White Sox beat Cleveland 7-2. So the Tigers got an infield single to lead off the game against the Pirates and didn't get another hit the rest of the way. Pittsburgh beat them 8-0. Dodgers.
This time in 15 games, they scored more than 4 runs, and they finally win.
How about that, though? A leadoff infield single.
And that's it.
That's it, Bubkiss. Dodgers scored 5 in the 7th, beat the Twins 7-3, but Dusty May, who missed a year with Tommy John, left the game after an inning. Right elbow injury, was placed on the IL. This is a problem, even for the Dodgers. This is a problem. Colorado 5 in the 5th, 6 in the 6th, beat Cincy 11-6. Okay, A's Wednesday night against Arizona. Actually, I think it was a mid-afternoon game.
And for some reason, I thought Wednesdays was a good draw day for Oakland. They sell cheap tickets, so I'm going to up the ante.
Now, remember, 2,000 on Monday night, 3,000 on Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon.
62-68.
Lower, 41-59.
And we thank you.
That's right.
Every morning I go through all the scores, and I am so tempted to hit that to see what the attendance is, and I just stay away. I don't look at the box. I don't look at anything. I just look at the A's score if they're at home, because I know I'm going to get asked on the show, and I'm not going to cheat.
That's right. They've played a 3-game series with Arizona, and they've yet to have 10,000 people come through the turnstiles. Royals beat the Padres 4-3, and Machado broke his hand. That's not good. A Florida judge ruled late yesterday that Tiger's ex-girlfriend, Erica Herman, she's got to abide by that non-disclosure agreement that she signed 6 years ago. College football, Florida State added Michigan State's leading receiver last year, Keon Coleman. He chose the Noles over Ole Miss. And remember, Caleb Love was transferring from North Carolina to Michigan? Either one of two things happened. Michigan's saying that some of his credits didn't transfer, because this is an admissions issue. Most people in the real world think that the NIL money didn't show up. So Caleb Love's back on the market. 7 minutes before the hour, that was
the starting 5. Miller and Moulton, solid show lined up for you today. Paul Azinger will join us in a little over an hour to talk about the PGA Championship, and JP Shadrick to talk about the stadium issue in Jacksonville with the Jags. Text line is open at 21,000 to take your comments. 21-000 to add into the show. Miller and Moulton, thanking you so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
No, I'm wearing a Bam jersey. Bam was big.
You're wearing a Bam jersey. You're not wearing a jersey. You're wearing a jersey. Oh, that's a T-shirt underneath it. I didn't realize that's that horrible. That's an awful jersey. What one is that? Yuck.
It's the city jersey.
Yeah,
from
that's
last
awful.
year.
That's awful. That's bad.
It's a different font from every moment in Heat history.
Yeah, okay.
And the yellow lines.
It looks a lot like a Vancouver Canuck jersey.
The yellow lines.
Oh, wow.
The yellow lines on the side represent the yellow tape that they brought out when they thought the Spurs were going to win in 2013. But then the Heat tied it and sent it to overtime and won Game 6. Thanks, Ray Allen.
Thank Popovich for not having Tim Duncan on the floor.
Yeah, that too. Thanks, Chris Bosh, for that offensive rebound. Thanks, LeBron, for basically willing us to that situation.
Think about that. The Heat came dangerously close to only winning one ring with that 4-year run. That's how much better the NBA was 10 years ago, by the way.
Yeah. Back out to Allen, his three-pointer.
When Ray Allen's the fourth best player on your team.
Mind you, a 39-year-old Ray Allen, but nonetheless, Ray Allen.
Still.
That's
I think
true.
Ray Allen today might be the third best player on the Heat.
So he plays his last season in 2014. In 2019, the All-Star Celebrity Game is in Charlotte, and Ray Allen is playing. Like, you're right. He could play minutes in the NBA right now. He's still in peak shape. He cycles every day.
And, you know, nowadays you could just hang out beyond the arc and wait for them to give you the ball. And I'll bet you Ray Allen could play 15, 18 minutes.
No doubt. He could still run. I mean, he might get crossed up. That's all. He'll be able to shoot a 3-pointer until the day he dies.
Rodriguez from the Tigers, lefty starter. You know, Mark, with as mediocre as the Central Division is, maybe the Tigers shouldn't trade everybody. Maybe they could steal the division with 85 wins.
I don't think they're good enough to get to 85, or they wouldn't.
What are they, 2-3 games under 500?
Mm-hmm. Probably 3 now, 3 or 4.
I lost last night, but
3.
They're in second, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour number 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks so much for being with us. Paul Azinger, 1 hour from now. Don't know if the PGA will be underway by then because they're in a frost delay. It's freezing, literally and figuratively, in upstate New York. 32 degrees right now. PGA going to run a little behind schedule today. Going to be chilly. Does this vault over Chile?
It's cold.
It's okay. Does this go straight to?
This is cold.
Okay.
And for these guys, it's freezing.
This might as well be, what is it, like the January 1st Polar Bear Club that, you know, runs into the ocean and what have you. Man, oh man. All these guys from Orlando. Oh boy. Caddy, that bag will be 50, 60 pounds today with all the stuff that's in it. My goodness.
So frost delay at the PGA at the moment.
Meanwhile, the Miami Heat, if they were to just get near Rochester, they would add 10 degrees to the temperature because they are on fire. Jimmy Butler alone could heat up Oak Hill.
I would, if I were Oak Hill, I would just call Jimmy Butler and say, could you just land your touchdown and walk around for 10 minutes and warm this place up?
Could you be our honorary starter on Thursday? We could really use it. Besides, you played 43 minutes last night. You're not practicing today. The Heat did it again. If you missed it, down 9 at the half. They said, we got them right where we want them. Outscored the Celtics by 21 in the third quarter, 46-25. How about that? If before the third quarter, you placed that bet, you told everybody, listen, the Celtics are up 9. They're going to score 25 points this quarter. What will their lead be after 3? Answer, -12. 123-116 Heat. Jimmy Buckets with 35, 6 in double figures for Miami, including 2 off the bench. Thank you very much. Heat up 1-0. Denver's up 1-0. They'll play game 2 of the Western Finals tonight against LeBron and the Lakers. The Panthers back in action. It's been nearly a week. Let's go, boys. In Raleigh against Carolina. Everybody's picking the Canes, by the way.
No, everybody was picking Boston. So,
yeah, but that made sense. You know, now we've seen, you know, what Florida's done for a month. They just took care of Toronto in 5, for goodness sakes. Okay, honestly.
He just took care of Milwaukee in 5. I mean, it is apples to apples in the comparison. It's totally apples to apples.
I feel as if the Heat were getting more respect. Nobody was picking them to beat Boston, but they were at least picking them to drag this series out. Everybody except Dave Portnoy. He said Celtics in 4. Ouch. But so apparently there was an issue with the game last night that didn't involve the Heat or the Celtics.
But it should scare the hell out of every sports fan out there, particularly the NFL fan. Because last night, with around 4 minutes to go, a little more than 4 minutes remaining, they went to commercial. And on YouTube TV, they stayed in commercial for the rest of the game. Many fans saw the same ad starting and stopping, but felt like an endless amount of time, and it never came back for the rest of the game. What they were watching was a commercial for the new live-action version of Disney's The Little Mermaid.
A movie that no one asked for, that is being shoved in your face by a glitch.
So is this our version of the Heidi game?
This is the 2023 version of the Heidi game.
I wish I knew what that was.
For those that don't know, football games never ran over. This was early 70s, very late 60s. Anyway, it was the Jets in Oakland playing the Raiders for a bunch. I mean, games took 2.5 hours back in the day. There was very little throwing.
68, by the way.
68. Okay, it was the year they would then play later in the season in the AFL championship game. So when it got to 7 o'clock on NBC, they had Disney, Wide World of Disney they were going to. Heidi.
The Disney movie.
And so at 7 o'clock, they said, hey, don't know what to tell you. We can't show you the rest of the game. We'll run along the bottom. We'll let you know how it ends. And the Jets had just kicked a field goal to go up 32-29 with less than 3 minutes to go in the game. Raiders would score a touchdown to take the lead, and then I think get a pick six, and they won the game 43-32. And nobody saw it unless they were at the game. And it was famously referred to as the Heidi game. And it changed sports on television. The NFL and the networks decided, yeah, I don't think we can do that. Can we? People watch the whole damn game, and right before the ending, we go, oh, sorry, we've run out of time. So apparently on YouTube TV last night, it was the Heidi game. Now, it would have been something if the Celtics came back and won.
Right.
Has YouTube said anything?
No. I'm not. Well, if they have, I mean, YouTube acknowledged the existence. If you have, they basically said, if you have an issue watching the Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics game on TNT, we are aware of it and our team is working on a fix. Thanks so much for your patience.
Who's on line one? That's the NFL. Going, what is going on?
Apparently, TNT was using dynamic ad insertion with YouTube TV, something that broadcast affiliates don't use, and that's why the glitch happened, they believe. But YouTube TV has got this little property this year.
What's that, Mark?
NFL Sunday Ticket.
Oh, yeah, that's a little property. It's kind of like MLS games on Apple, right?
Right.
Okay. Few people might be interested. That's about it.
I mean, I would imagine that there's a decent amount of our audience right now that's switching to YouTube TV if they haven't already in the coming months.
If you switch early enough, you get the $100 discount, right?
Yeah. Do you really get the $100 discount, though, if you're paying for it for the 2 months before it starts?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Probably
I'll wait
not.
until the very last minute and hope that there's another discount coming then. But Philly, you have YouTube TV, so this happened to you last night.
Yes.
And you had to pirate the game from a buddy or something like that.
Yeah, I was irate. It wasn't really pirating, though. I joined a Discord chat room, and my friend was streaming it on Hulu. So Hulu and everything else was fine. Every other streaming service was fine, but YouTube TV completely the bed last night.
So you were able to see the ending of the game?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
On a phone, on a computer screen?
On my phone.
On your phone. So instead of watching on your 70-inch, 50-inch, whatever big TV you have in your room.
Right.
You were watching the game on your phone.
Right.
And I was going to text you last night, Philly, during the game, and just at one point just say, where is it? How? Because I'm trying to figure out what the delay is from the live sports betting standpoint, David. I wanted to text Philly, and I'll probably do it during one of the games that you're watching and just say, how much time's left in the game right now versus I'm at this point. Because I know when I've talked to my son watching hockey games when he's streaming, he's way behind me.
Right. Streaming is behind cable, for example.
I thought it was like 30 seconds.
I thought it was more.
I thought it was significantly.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a pretty sizable gap.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That seems because if whatever Turner, so YouTube is blaming Turner. They're basically saying they changed the ingredients here. That caused the problem with the recipe.
No. Actually, the folks behind the sports TV ratings account on Twitter believe the glitch happened because TNT was using the dynamic ad insertion. YouTube just knows that they screwed up. They didn't blame anybody. They merely just sent out the quick blurb saying that if you have an issue watching the game, we're aware of it and our team's working on the fix.
Line 1. Who's that? That's Roger Goodell. Hey, guys. Yeah, I don't know what happened because that's the NBA and I don't watch. But heard you guys had a problem last night. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. We can't be having any problems. Any. Zero, zilch, nada. All right.
Oh, I'll bet on problems. Week 1 for this.
Well, the NFL's putting more and more and more and more. Although people analyzing the 1 year, $110 million one playoff game on Peacock, they think that the NFL, being a little greedy, got a chance to make an extra $110 million here. Which, when you think about it, I mean, each owner, and then do they have to share that with the players? So, I mean, for each owner, it's like $1.5 million. I mean, that's what they spend, on the private, plane and hotels and the suite for the game, for goodness sakes. But anyway, just that the NFL did it as a one-off because they're giving themselves an out. That if it works really well, we're going to get more playoff games on streaming going forward. Isn't that great? By the way, how do you feel if you're all these networks? And I know NBC owns Peacock and all that, but I mean, we're paying you between $2 and $3 billion. Wait, we got to pay you more? Damn.
They need these things to take off too, though. I don't think the networks have a problem with it. They're trying to, this is helping ease the blow to get us to stream.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, I can sense in your voice that this bothers you.
Well, I just think one of the things that has led to the NFL being the 800-pound gorilla is that every game has been easily accessible. We know where they are. It's easy to get. 96+% of America has been able to see all of these games forever. And now that's not the case. And it's for short-term money, which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money. But they have shown they will do anything for $7. They really will. For a $20 billion annual business, they will do anything for a cheesesteak sandwich and fries on the side. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka play of the day.
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka play of the day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I don't know what you got here, but I've got a little something.
Good.
Nothing to do with sports.
Good. There was a guy who chimed in the Twitch chat room about an hour ago, Wes, who said, hey, you guys talked about NHL ratings. Why not talk about NBA ratings? We did. We did a whole segment on both at the same time. I don't know how you could have heard us talk about the NHL ratings and not heard the NBA ratings talk. But NBA ratings are awesome.
Through the roof.
Awesome.
Go to
Highest
highest
rated second round in either 9 or 11 years. Now, it helps having the matchups that they've had, but no, the NBA ratings have been great so far. And let's be honest, they're rooting for the Lakers.
Oh, no doubt.
They don't care. I mean, they'd prefer the Celtics, but
They'd prefer the Celtics, but Miami, they just need if the Lakers are in it with LeBron, it's a monster.
Either one would be good. I mean, because you got obviously Lakers, Celtics.
Well, Laker Celtics is better.
Yeah, obviously. But like LeBron playing against his former team in Miami as opposed to the bubble. I mean,
the Cavs are out.
yeah, I was going to say, Felipe, believe it or not, most sports fans, if they think about LeBron's former team, they think of the Cavs.
well,
I mean, he played 11 years in Cleveland. 11.
the team that he won the most championships with. How about that? Team that he had the most success for. Gold.
I don't know. I could argue his one title in Cleveland is
Just as good.
more successful than
I wouldn't be too mad about that.
his 3 other titles combined.
Because the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals after winning 73 games and losing only 9. Why would I ever want to imagine Jokic playing for Boston? Honestly. Denver's fine. He's from Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is cold. You know what else is cold? Denver. We're coming back.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Paul Azinger to join us coming up at the top of the hour. JP Shadrick next hour as well. There's a stadium situation that is developing in Jacksonville. Will not only affect the Jags, likely will impact the Florida-Georgia game for at least a couple years. So we just want to check in with JP and have him update us on what's going on. And maybe he's got some insight considering he kind of sort of works for the Jags and all that. But Paul Azinger, JP Shadrick coming up here on Miller and Moulton.
You know, different people have tried to trademark different things. Didn't Pat Riley try to trademark
Three-peat,
right? Or did trademark three-peat?
I believe he did.
LeBron tried unsuccessfully to trademark Taco Tuesday. And that's partially because it was already trademarked. And now Taco Bell has asked U.S. regulators to force Taco John's, a Wyoming-based chain, to abandon its long-standing claim to the trademark.
That's ridiculous. Why? Because they're bigger? I mean, seriously. That's ridiculous.
Taco Bell believes Taco Tuesday is critical to everyone's Tuesday. To deprive anyone of saying Taco Tuesday is like depriving the world of sunshine itself. That is in their filing. That is actually in their filing, David.
Goodness,
Wow.
What are you willing to do for Taco Tuesday?
Was there like the laughing hysterically emoji that went with it? Please tell me there was an emoji that went with that filing.
So apparently, have you ever been to a Taco John's, first off, David?
I believe so.
They're in North Dakota. They're
Yes.
370 of them. They're basically from Wyoming through the Midwest.
Yes.
There are no Taco John's in the state of Florida. But they have had claim of Taco Tuesday now for quite some time.
Okay. It's theirs. You know, to the victors go the spoils. It's theirs. So just to review, to deny Taco Bell the use of the phrase Taco Tuesday is to deprive the rest of us of sunshine?
Not just Taco Bell, David. We're all deprived.
Right.
Taco Bell believes Taco Tuesday is critical to everyone's Tuesday.
Everyone's Tuesday.
To deprive anyone of saying Taco Tuesday, be it Taco Bell or anyone else who provides tacos to the world, is like depriving the world of sunshine itself. That is actually in their filing. But if a phrase becomes too generic, it can't be trademarked. Is Taco Tuesday too generic to be trademarked?
No. I would think 2 for Tuesday is more generic than Taco Tuesday.
Now, I love Jim Creel, the CEO of Taco John's. In an emailed statement, we would like to thank our worthy competitors at Taco Bell for reminding everyone that Taco Tuesday is best celebrated at Taco John's. We love celebrating Taco Tuesday with taco lovers everywhere, and we even want to offer a special invitation to the fans of Taco Bell to liberate themselves by coming to see how flavorful and bold tacos can be at Taco John's all month long.
Well done.
Oh, man. So
Taco John's has had the trademark since 1989.
if you're Taco John's now, do you change your marketing? Taco John's, where every day is Tuesday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Taco John's and Gregory's Restaurant and Bar in Summers Point, New Jersey are the two places who have the claims of Taco Tuesday. Taco John's has it in 49 states. Gregory's has it in has it in New Jersey. And they've been using it for over 40 years as well.
Yeah. Just I mean, it's to deprive us in the taco business, in the taco world, of using the phrase Taco Tuesday is to deprive the rest of the world of sunshine. Wow. That's tough to keep a straight face while typing. Damn. I mean, that's like, you really expect me? Did you ever, like, you put a paper together and you kind of got a little flowery at a certain part of your assignment and you go, can I really submit this? I mean, it'll look like somebody else wrote it. I can't really submit this, can I? I kind of got, the English, literature class in which, you got a little crazy. You channeled your inner whatever.
I channeled a lot. Mrs. DeLong was hot.
So, wow.
Taco Bell believes that Taco Tuesday is critical to everyone's Tuesday. Deprive anyone of saying Taco Tuesday is like depriving the world of sunshine itself.
How many of you have tacos on Tuesday? Like, how critical is tacos to your Tuesday?
It's one of the more critical. I mean, tacos are critical. It doesn't matter what day that they are. Taco is I will say that we don't go a week without having tacos in our house.
Yeah, but what we're arguing here is that they're critical on Tuesdays. Not that I can't go a week without tacos. No. I can't go a Tuesday without tacos. That's what they're arguing. Remember, Mark, it's the equivalent of the rest of the world being able to live in the sun.
I can't remember the last time I had tacos. That's probably the sunshine that's missing in my life,
Obviously.
Taco Tuesday. Yeah, obviously. I mean,
you're in need of a taco.
I need a taco.
I can't believe you said that in part of the show. I mean, how do you live without tacos?
No.
Could you start by bringing sunshine into your life? Have a taco on a Thursday and then make your way to Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Sunshine.
We'll see what type of sunshine Felipe has now. It is time for our Clutch Vodka play of the day. Felipe, what do you have for us today?
All right. So the Rays, they were up 5-2 in the bottom of the ninth in New York at Citi Field against the Mets. Francisco Alvarez with two men on base.
And he drives one deep left field. That goes Raleigh. That ball's out of here. And the game is tied. Off the facing of the second deck, Francisco Alvarez brings the Mets back from the brink with a 3-run homer in the bottom of the ninth to tie the game at 5.
So to extras we go. The Rays take a 7-5 lead, but then Pete Alonso.
Alonso drives one deep left field. Really going back. It's out of here. And the Mets win it. Into the second deck. Alonso, a 3-run shot, and the Mets walk it off for the first time this year.
Just a crushing loss for the Rays, who are in desperate need, as you guys said earlier, of some relief pitchers. Mets win 8-7. That's your Clutch Vodka play of the day.
That's Clutch with a K. Check them out at clutchspirits.com. Hashtag all of your drinks with the hashtag Clutch Spirits and look for Clutch Vodka wherever you buy your vodka.
Alvarez's homer in the ninth. He was the 9-hole hitter. He's a rookie. 2 outs in the ninth, too. Ouch.
My own cousin. I'm kidding. He's not my cousin.
We kind of assumed that because Felipe, you'd have told us a long time ago.
Right. We at least would have had him on the show, right?
True.
Maybe.
During spring training, anyway. Miller and Moulton. Paul Azinger in a half an hour. JP Shadrick next hour as well. A lot going on. Here on a Thursday, do we have any thing we can copyright for Thursdays? Us and Pete's Bar and Grill in Jersey? No?
I think we're good.
You sure?
But I'm really now, I hate doing segments like that because I find myself hungry.
Miller and Moulton. If you don't listen to it, you're depriving yourself of sunshine. No?
Doesn't have the same ring to it, but I like where you're heading with that one. 21,000 is the text line. Where are you getting your tacos on Tuesday? That's what we want to know. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So Miller and Moulton Mondays, can we trademark that? How about Fish Fry Fridays? Who's got that? Does Long John Silver's have that? Red Lobster? Who's got Fish Fry Fridays? Is it Pete's Bar? Is it Pete's Bar and Grill in Shreveport?
The Pope.
Which one? How far back does this go back to?
JP2.
If it has anything with pious in it, I'm out.
Oh.
Practice facilities open at 7:35. Putting greens opens at 7:45. First tee time will be at 8:50.
Wow.
Which means what I did read one guy say is that means that you're going to have now the afternoon guys from today are probably not going to finish and have to finish in the morning.
And then start back up in the morning.
Fish Friday. How about that?
Fish and Chips Friday is owned by the Church of England. Okay, not the Catholics. Interesting.
I thought Arthur Treachers owned it.
What is the fish in your typical English fish and chips?
Cod.
Cod.
Apparently a guy wrote a song called Fish Fry Friday. It's on YouTube. Music video.
Michael Collins has gloves, a huge jacket on, and a Ryder Cup cap that is like for skiing. Course is going to be long,
especially today.
That's
look at that. They're showing people with beanies, warm cups of coffee. I mean,
he looks like he's in a ski suit, for crying out loud.
Look at this.
That's what I just said. You were just what I just described.
Well, did they show him? Oh, they showed him before, yeah. Wow, he looks so weird without the beard. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Paul Azinger will join us at the top of the hour to talk about the PGA, which will still not be underway when one of the voices of golf on NBC joins us in a little over 20 minutes' time, because it's still freezing in upstate New York.
Up to 33 degrees right now in Rochester, David, but with the wind chill, still feels below freezing.
Still feels like what, about 28?
30.
So what's the deal? When are they going to force these guys to play? And by the way, the ball's not going to go nearly as far as you're used to.
Practice facilities just opened. The putting green opens in another 6 minutes. Tee time off the first tee will be at 8:50. The first tee time on the 10th tee will be 8:55. Tee times are being delayed by 1 hour and 50 minutes total.
Wow, that's a lot. So you're going to have like what, 10, 20 groups that won't finish?
And have to finish tomorrow morning in what could be wet and cold.
Now, I will say a lot of the people that tee off later today, usually then you have early tee times on Friday. So
I'm sorry, it's Saturday rain. Tomorrow's a nicer day. But this does give a break to the Thursday morning, Friday afternoon groups of getting the hour and 50 minutes.
Well, it'll be interesting also. Will they be able to get in all the tee times on Friday afternoon? You know, if you're playing catch up, and then obviously if everybody doesn't finish their first round today and you got to send a dozen groups out there to finish, and wondering if the Friday after, do you think we'll have the 36 holes complete by Friday night?
I do. Days are long enough. We don't have, and it was my mistake. The weather's going to be on the weekend, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the nicest day of the tournament. So I think they'll be able to start early and play into the evening hours. So I think they'll be able to get this done tomorrow.
Well,
get 36 done tomorrow, I should say.
Fortunately, Mark, it's the PGA Tour. I mean, they play so quickly. The guys will just talk amongst themselves and realize we really need to pick up the pace, boys. Can we try to finish these threesomes in less than 5 hours? Unbelievable.
Michael Collins looks like he's about to go snowboarding.
Well, Michael Collins, at least a year ago, all right, when I was lucky enough to spend the PGA with him a year ago, he was living in the greater Gainesville area. Now, it can get a little chilly in North Florida. It can. But
in December,
right.
This is literally the coldest it would ever be in Gainesville.
Correct.
May.
Right. Does he look like the Michelin Man?
Totally.
He's got Nike mitts on, not gloves, mitts.
Full golf mittens, skull cap, big skull cap with flappy ears.
He's missing the Oakley goggles, and he'd look like a snowboarder.
Absolutely. I think he purposefully wore like a brown and yellow coat because if it was a blue or black, he would look like the Michelin Man.
So for the longest time, the worst part about doing local news / sports in the cold, and most of my career I spent in the cold in Northeast or Fargo, before moving to Florida in 99, and I only did local TV for another 4 or 5 years. The worst part was holding the steel microphone. First off, I'm not a gloves guy. Okay, not a gloves guy. The microphone was the coldest thing in the world. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
Like Mark gloves.
Mark, the microphone would get so cold that you could feel it through your gloves. That's how cold it was. And think of the, remember, I'm talking 80s, 90s, think of the Gene Rayburn, big, thick microphones. And it would be so cold. And obviously, you can't put it down. They got to be able to hear you. It was the microphone totally, like you'd be in the car, you'd be warming up, and you'd go outside and you'd handle the wind, and you're like, this isn't so bad. And they'd hand you the microphone. And I swear, Mark, that was the coldest thing. It's like you just gave the temperature and the wind chill. Okay. It was the temperature, it was the wind chill, and then the temperature of the microphone, which was the coldest of the three. Could never warm up once you held the microphone in your hand. That's it. You were done.
By the way, you know who else doesn't wear gloves in the cold is Ryan Tannehill. So this makes a lot of sense, actually. David isn't a gloves kind of guy.
Some people are not gloves people. I was never a gloves guy.
I know, but you were in Fargo. I mean, there are a lot of things that I would have changed about myself living to where, basically in the North Pole.
I just never felt that I just didn't feel that my short, fat fingers worked with gloves on, Mark. I have a hard enough time them working without gloves on, that once I put gloves on, that basically I might have been walking around with two, plates on my hand. I couldn't grab anything. And that's what was in my head. It's like, I can't wear gloves. I can't grab anything. Yeah, but it's
for someone as fond as Dan Marino as you are, you would have liked gloves more.
I know, right? Isotoners, right? The whole day I would have fallen victim to all that marketing, right? Never did. That's the other thing. Don't laugh. When I would try it, I would. You know how I lose sunglasses? I just bought my first pair of sunglasses in 5 years. Not that I haven't needed sunglasses, not that I haven't wanted sunglasses, but I lose sunglasses like every 36 hours. So I just stopped buying them. It was the same with gloves.
Just wallets and phones?
Oh, come on. I lost one wallet in 5 years. Unbelievable.
Apparently you lost one pair of sunglasses in 5 years too.
No, that's all because I stopped. I mean, I kept buying wallets. I keep buying phones. Come on, 2 phones, 1 wallet, and a partridge in a pear tree. That's where we're at. But I kid you not. And then once you lose one of the gloves, because you stuff them in your jacket pocket, and then all of a sudden you get the jacket out and one of them's not there. Well, what are you going to go? Going to be Michael Jackson in the winter? No. So I just stopped buying gloves.
And I know you weren't wearing the hat.
No, I didn't wear a hat when I played golf. Don't wear the winter hat. No.
Did the Fargo station have because now, it's been a while since you did this. Were they as color coded then in Fargo with the winter garb? Did you have all the station garb?
The KX4 gear, Mark. Oh, was they absolutely. The logo and the whole deal, and they'd want to give it to you. And I'm like, first off, you don't have a hat big enough for this head. Okay, this is the biggest damn thing you've ever seen. And they're like, well, you got a point there. Okay. And besides, so you're stretching out that winter cap on your head and it looks silly because it's not big enough. So then you look ridiculous with it on. So you take that off. Besides, Mark, you're in television, you're a little vain. It's like, no, that'll mess up my hair. So you can't have that.
And Fargo is peak hair years for you too.
Oh my goodness.
There's no salt at all. I mean, this is just the flowing locks. You're
yeah,
no way you're putting a hat on.
No, this is age 29 to 34 right here. I mean, this is peak Moultonville right here. Absolutely. Right. I've only got 2 chins, not 3. I mean, oh yeah, I'm looking as good as I can look. Still have the stash half the time. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So all this being said because there's weather in Rochester, cold weather.
Correct.
Delaying the PGA for nearly 2 hours this morning.
And Michael Collins is outside looking like the Michelin Man. Wait to see some of the golfers too. I mean, do you even practice your putting? I mean, if you're from Florida and this is the coldest thing that you've been in a really long time, do you even want to practice your putting?
You don't want to practice anything.
Right. But at least you're swinging a club, if you know what I mean. Out on the range. I mean, on the putting green, there's nothing to shield you from the wind. I mean, do you really care? Or do you just say to yourself, hell, I'll 3-jack the first green and figure out the speed as I go?
You wonder, which players are going to react poorly to this weather, because there will be some that won't be able to handle this. That the cold, wearing all the clothes, they'll be too stiff. You will see someone shoot a round that will be much higher than you would expect out of that player.
These swings are going to have so many layers of clothing on. These swings are going to be like a foot shorter than they are normally. Ball's going to go 30, 40 yards.
The ball is, this course is 7,400 yards. It plays long. The rough is long. And now the ball's, what are you losing in this weather?
It's just like hitting a cinder block.
Thank goodness these guys pure it all the time, because all I can think of, David, is growing up playing high school golf in the fall. And when I grew up in Michigan, you played golf the same time as football season. I played high school golf. Nothing like catching a 4-iron thin in weather like this.
Your hands rattle for 10 minutes.
Fortunately, these guys hit it a little more crisp than us rank amateurs. But man, oh man, all I can think of in this weather is just one thin long iron and the pain that shivers up your arms when that happens.
Well, and Mark, when you think some of the toughest athletes going, you think PGA Tour players.
Right.
Okay, so they should really, handle this well.
Well, and the live guys now got to play 4 rounds. They're playing it in the cold. They just got back from Singapore, Australia.
Hey,
Epka's looking at this. He came from Jupiter for this because what in the hell is going on right now?
Hey, don't we have a shotgun start? Shouldn't we make it like 1:30? What are you talking about? What are we doing? It's 33 degrees. Whose idea was this? You can see the LIV golfers looking at the PGA Tour golfers going, and you guys make fun of us? Okay, there's a reason that we do this,
I can see the PGA guys looking right at him going, hey, you guys going to wear shorts today?
The LIV guys going, how about we skip today and just play 54?
Right. Aren't we supposed to start on Friday? This is awful to start today. Whose idea was this?
It'd be funny because the PGA, give them credit, they've actually mixed and matched the groupings. We got LIV guys actually playing with PGA Tour guys. It would be funny, all right, if a couple of the LIV guys could lean over and say, this is why we played 54 holes. I mean, if we skip today, we could just do it tomorrow and it'd be fine. It's going to be warmer tomorrow. You sure our idea is bad? I mean, no, money's the same, So Miller and Moulton, Paul Azinger in about 10 minutes. We'll ask him the coldest round he ever played in his life.
This got to be up there. They don't play golf in this type of weather ever, except for at the Open.
Well, and this is the first time they've, I think, ever had this at Oak Hill, because when they played the PGA there 10 years ago, it was in August. And when they played a U.S. Open at Oak Hill, it was the 3rd week of June. So I don't think they've ever had this even at Oak Hill before. And you do wonder, Mark, though, will this hurt the cause of golf courses north of Philadelphia who are trying to get future PGAs? If you know what I mean, that in which the PGA just goes, yeah, we can't have this anymore.
I don't know how it doesn't help the Floridas and the Texases and the
Right.
Arizonas of the world to get a PGA.
And I don't think Arizona's ever had a major either. There are a few states out there who have never hosted a major. If you're the PGA, you got a chance to do something, dramatic, special with your tournament here in future years.
And of course, it could weed out a lot of courses that they were hoping to play again.
Right.
And get back to. We'll see how it all turns out. I don't think the cold's as big of a deal as if it rains on the weekend and it's cold. We can get through sunny and cold for a couple of days. But if they get the rains that they're expected to get this weekend, along with the weather, that's even more of a detriment to the PGA looking at northern and northeast courses in the future for what's a May tournament now.
Paul Azinger in 10 minutes, JP Shadrick in about 45. If you're just joining us, the Heat rallied from a 9-point halftime deficit, beat the Celtics thanks to a 46-point third quarter, 123-116. Jimmy Butler with 35, leading 6 Heat in double figures. Battle of the boards was even. Turnovers were even. Heat committed them in the first half. Celtics committed them in the fourth quarter. Miami's up one spit. Panthers in action tonight. They've won 6 in a row, Mark, on the road. 6 in a row in the playoffs on the road. Game 1 in Carolina tonight, Eastern Conference Finals.
Should be a great series. Both teams like to forecheck. They like to hit. It should be a very entertaining series. And can the Panthers keep on keeping on? They have been so impressive thus far. Paul Azinger, he's pretty impressive. He'll join us next on Miller and Moulton right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
You had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, DC Roger Degerman moved to Virginia.
In DC, I'm not sure what I dropped a Wii for. The PGA?
Mark Calder, Oak Hill or your studio?
Oak Hill.
Close.
I think it's only in the 60s here.
Ridiculous.
You know, it is impressive that the Rays are plus 122 in run differential. It is equally impressive that the Athletics are minus 161. Hey, how you doing? Hey, good morning.
I did fantasy baseball during my whole time in Fargo, and he left early in the 98 season. So, yeah, we did a couple of years together still, DC.
Ten seconds.
Call Paul. It's our guest. Come on, Felipe.
Come on. Are you serious?
Come on, Felipe.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. Halfway home in the 239, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. JP Shadrick will be kind enough to join us in about 35 minutes time to talk about a stadium situation that is developing in Jacksonville, which will not only affect an NFL team, but could affect the Florida-Georgia game for a few years. But it's a pleasure to be joined once again by Paul Azinger of NBC Sports, who 30 years ago won the PGA Championship. Zinger, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. They're in your buddy Sluman's country here, Rochester at Oak Hill. They're in a frost delay.
Oh, I could believe that. I saw the forecast. They're getting ready to have a tough day of golf. I think the wind's supposed to blow. See if they can handle the cold weather. Good morning, guys. It's nice to see you. I mean, nice to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a while, really, since the hurricane went through. I know I haven't talked to you. Talked to you, David, a little bit, but hope you guys are well down there in Fort Myers, and just been thinking about you.
Well, and it's a long process to dig out of these things, so it's still going on, but things are good around here. Paul, we're just curious with the weather like this, what's the coldest tournament round you ever played?
Well, I had several. I had a 6-layer round in 1987 at the Open Championship. It just can be so bitter cold. I handled the cold weather pretty well for some reason. The crummier the weather, I felt like was an advantage for me in my mind. I just felt I had a one-up on the guys that would complain about it, and my ball flight usually fit. But it's hard to play in cold weather. A lot of guys can't handle it, and you're going to find out today pretty quickly which superstars can handle cold weather.
Listen, you played Oak Hill in a major a couple times. You played a U.S. Open there and a PGA there, and I know they've changed the course. They've lengthened it. They've cut some trees. They've remodeled the greens. But when you hear Oak Hill, what do you think?
I just think difficult championship, big boy golf course. There's no hiding at Oak Hill. Everything has to be good. There's a certain amount of real stress that starts before you begin that event, because the first tee shot's so important to put in a fairway, or you're not going to hit the green in regulation. The second hole doesn't let up, and really the third's a killer hole. So on and on it goes from beginning to end. And if you get off to a bad start, there's no place you can really think ahead and say, I can make it up. It's 7,400 yards long. It's par 70. I think it's probably one of the hardest majors they'll play. Although the way the PGA of America sets it up, I'm imagining somebody will get 8 to 10 under there.
Well, Paul, you mentioned it before. I'm just fascinated today by which stars can handle the weather and which stars cannot. You talked about it. This is where, and I know these guys all claim to have a great mental game, but obviously this is where the game between your ears is paramount for this week, isn't it?
Absolutely. You get claustrophobic when you have to hit it in a fairway, and then you start to steer. And when that happens, that's the guy that's he's beaten mentally. Maybe physically he doesn't feel it, but mentally he's sabotaged right out of the gate, and he'll blow up if he gets off to a bad start. Like I said, there's only 2 par 5s. Where are you going to get your birdies? If you get off to a good start, it's more of a relaxing kind of feeling that frees you up. So really the start today is so critical to who's going to win this golf tournament. And the conditions are such, it's going to take a hardy soul to get off to a good start today, and somebody with a lot of kind of intestinal fortitude that embraces this kind of crummy weather. Matt Fitzpatrick sticks out to me right away.
Very interesting. A reigning U.S. Open champion, Paul Azinger of NBC Sports, kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. What is it about the PGA that historically has been a breakthrough major for so many? Now, granted, for the longest time it was in August, but even, going back, the PGA was played in February a few times. I mean, what is it you think about this championship? Is it the way the PGA of America sets it up?
Well, I'm glad you asked me this, because if you go back into the 60s, the PGA Tour and the PGA of America were the same. But there was a definite, they had a split. The PGA of America became the club professionals. The PGA Tour became just the players. But there's always been a bond. Every one of us grew up in a pro shop in some capacity. And, we all feel like, I did anyway, I was representing my local pros who were good but never got on tour. And there's a certain element in a bond there that really motivates players to do it for somebody other than themselves in some capacity. And it makes it easier on a first-time guy. You know, another guy that'll jump off the page this week, I think, is real hardy guy. Is that Cam Smith, or what's his name?
Cam Young.
Cam Young.
The guy that hits it so far. And, you know, he's the son of a club pro. That's the kind of emotional, you know, connection that will get a good player, just get him over the hump sometimes. That wasn't what motivated me, but it motivates a lot of guys. And I can see it, you know. And, you know, if you win the PGA, there's a lot comes with it. You'll probably be the Ryder Cup captain, excluding Larry Nelson and John Daly, of course. But if you win the PGA, you're likely going to be a Ryder Cup captain. Even Sluman wasn't. He was so maybe that's not true anymore. But that's what we thought at the time. So it was a big deal to all of us.
Driving the ball or approach shots. Donald Ross course. This course is obviously incredibly difficult. What do you have to have a better week doing?
You have to drive the ball. That's all there is to it. You have to hit driver too. There's not a lot of layup holes. Maybe for a guy like Cam Young, there might be some because he's so powerful. He flies his 2-iron like 250 in the air. But it's the kind of course you can't just kind of kick back and lay up, because the second shots are Donald Ross, which usually means the greens are pushed up in the air a little bit and it falls off around the sides. There's going to be rough that'll keep the ball from rolling away. You know, short game's big, the rough is thick. But quite frankly, if you're not in the fairway, forget about it. So drive it, wedge it, putt it is always the key. And it's going to go in that sequence of order this week. It's going to be drive it, putt it, wedge it.
Last 7 major winners are all in their 20s. Phil's the last guy older than 29 to win a major. That hasn't happened in 100 years, by the way. Do you think that's just an anomaly, or do you think there's something to that?
I think there's something to it. Just a really refreshing new wave of talent has hit the PGA Tour. And I've always been reluctant to say players are better out of college now, but they just are. And there's a myriad of reasons. I mean, they've got cameras following them at NCAAs and a lot of tournaments now, so they're used to that element when they come out on tour. But it is a younger, more capable bunch, and they're proving it. The older players at this point, now they're probably looking at Liv thinking, I can jump ship if I play terrible. So it's just a weird dynamic on the tour. It's the real hungry, starving for a legacy. And I think as you get older, you realize, legacy, that's all Tiger Woods anyway for us, for my generation. So some of those guys want to jump ship and go take the guarantee money. Some of those older guys, maybe in their 40s. That's why the 20-somethings are dominating maybe. I don't know. I think I might be overstating that a little bit. The 40-somethings still grind it out, don't get me wrong, but they're not the 20-somethings coming out of college.
Which Live guy do you give the best shot? Koepka, DJ, Cam Smith? Which one do you give the best shot this week?
I can only say Koepka. He's the only guy I can think of. I always like Cam Smith because he putts the way he does. But Koepka, until he proves otherwise, I always watching Koepka win it, the U.S. Open. We watched him win a couple, and he just kept making putts I wasn't expecting him to make, 7-footers, 9-footers. And he's proven to me that, he's the best player that went to Live. He's the best player by a wide margin.
You obviously were a Ryder Cup captain and a victorious one at that. Zach Johnson's got a decision to make. The Live golfers have not been disqualified from playing in the Ryder Cup. And there's a couple of them. You mentioned Koepka. DJ went 5-0. Only Larry Nelson for the U.S. had gone 5-0 in a Ryder Cup before in the last Ryder Cup. If you were captain, would you even consider a guy who's on that tour?
I wouldn't do it, probably, if it were me. But this is a different social media era, and I feel like that would have been so fracturing. And as fracturing as it was, I just think this generation, they all kind of to each his own. And I think Zach will be really smart and leave it up to the players to decide that qualify. kind of like I did. You know, I let the players pick who filled our pods. You know, we broke the team into 3-4-man pods, and I let each of those three guys or three-man teams pick the fourth guy. I think Zach, if he wants to get his guys engaged, you know, really engage and empower them, he'll let them decide if somebody like Koepka or Dustin Johnson is the kind of personality you want there. You can win without them. I know that. And you could win with them as well. But if they, you know, have any kind of hostility or, you know, I just think they got to be real careful about it.
What do you expect out of Rory this week, Paul?
I don't know. Every time I watch Rory, I think he's going to win, and then he kind of lets me down. I get a sneaky feeling that he's the kind of guy, though, that can put it on the fairways. And I really do expect him to play well. He kind of finally let it all out. You know, how stressful it's been to be the voice of the tour. You know, he's had an opinion on every single topic for the last year and a half or 2 years. And he put the golf world really on his shoulders, the PGA Tour, I should say, you know, on his shoulders. And it's a big burden. And he did it. He got to be the mouthpiece. Thank goodness that Rory was around to kind of lobby for the other side because he's articulate. Tiger's not as articulate, but feels the same. And those two together are pretty powerful. I don't know how you go against those two. They're very popular. And, you know, it took its toll on Rory. There's no question. I'm surprised. You know, I thought it motivated Rory last year while he was doing it. It kind of gave him more purpose, made him a better player. And now that it's over, I think it hit him like a ton of bricks. He's talking to Tiger about his swing. Stuff like that makes me think Rory might free up. It's a perfect course for him to win on.
Paul Azinger, NBC Sports. He'll be very busy in the summer. Back-to-back opens in June and July, and it's a Ryder Cup year as well. Paul, all the best to you and the family. Hopefully we can do this again.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Mark.
Paul Azinger, talking the PGA, here on Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Paper City Holyoke, Massachusetts is known as the Paper City. Huh. Did not know that.
So apparently when the chair squeaks, it goes through the radio and it's annoying. I just got a tweet that said that.
Don't know what to tell you. Have them send us the money. We'll buy a new chair.
I'm going to bring WD-40 in tomorrow and oil my chair.
I think we should do it.
Try the other chair.
I think we should do it live. Make a segment out of it.
Chair swap. Funny because there's 2 chairs in my room, and I never switch the chairs, but I never know what chair I'm going to sit in the morning. They always switch.
Adam, was that in the Pensacola area? Because he's a proud Knoll. So I mentioned his buddy Sluman, who's from Rochester, also another proud Knoll. Mark and I used to remember the shootout, which all Sluman cared about was, what are you guys hearing about recruiting? How are the Knolls doing? They going to get that running back from Lakeland? That's all they wanted to talk about. You want to talk about golf? Not really. All right. How about we do 15 minutes on Florida State and recruiting? That'd be great.
Yeah, all in.
I'd love that.
So one of the USA Today writers did a thing on basically ranking the Dolphins games, 1 to 17 in order of hardness, importance. It had Tennessee. It had the home game against the Patriots as like one of the easiest games on the schedule. But it had Tennessee because Omar Kelly retweeted it and it's like, no love for the Ryan Tannehill revenge game. It was at like 12 or something like that.
Volleyball was invented in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Well, yeah, I mean, you're right near Springfield there, the Basketball Hall of Fame, but
And with that, the birthplace of basketball. I will say the NBA Hall of Fame does have a cool thing where you can shoot a basketball on like every single kind of basketball hoop.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
You mean in Springfield?
Yeah. Like I shot a basketball into a peach basket. It was pretty cool. Ten seconds.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. JP Shadrick will join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. There's a stadium issue developing in Jacksonville. It's going to affect the Jags in some way, shape, or form. Likely going to affect the Florida-Georgia game as well. We'll talk to JP about that and maybe a little Jags talk as well. If not just for Adam in our Twitch chat room, just to appease him, who's been so loyal from day one. You know, every now and then you just have to throw a question in there for one listener that you know of. You're thinking of, sometimes Mark and I do things for each other. Okay. Every now and then we ask a question just for one of you. You've texted us, you're in the Twitch chat room, and we go, you know what? Let's throw so-and-so a bone here. JP Shadrick in a little more than 15 minutes.
Funny how interview goes. Adam talking about what a great guy Paul Azinger is after the interview. Big OC on Twitter reached out and said, I hear Paul Azinger's PGA bias on full effect on your show. Ridiculous that Brooks Koepka is the only live golfer that has a chance to win the PGA, especially with Cam Smith playing as well as he is lately.
Well, he did say he likes Cam Smith. In fact, he loves Cam Smith's putting. When Cam was playing on the PGA Tour, he said, I think he's the best putter on tour. So it is interesting. I mean, all the big names, or most of the big names on that tour, have started to play well. DJ won. Koepka won. Koepka then finished second at the Masters, along with Phil. There's been a Bryson DeChambeau sighting, which had been 2 years in the making in the last month. There was a Cam Smith sighting in the last 2 weeks. Oh, okay. Even Harold Varner III, who a year ago was tearing it up on the PGA Tour, switches to LIV and does nothing. Even he had a top 5 here recently. So, some of the bigger names seem to have found a little bit of form. Does it continue this week at Oak Hill?
I did pick Tony Finau. I'm sticking with Finau as my winner, but I do have a secondary guy with the weather being the way it is. You got to at least think Victor Hovland's going to play well. I mean, because this is going to be balmy for him.
You think the Norwegian will be able to handle this?
I'm pretty sure he can handle the weather.
I mean, he's been here for a while now, though. College golf in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Weather's not always good there, by the way.
I was going to say, it's no weather paradise there.
No. Now, the summers are whoo-wee. But, okay. All right. That's a nice fallback. Fits the mold, too. Top 20 golfer in the 20s. Okay. I like it. I'll bet you probably get, 25 or more to 1 on Hovland, don't you think?
Seems about right.
I mean, would you get better odds on Hovland than Finau? I don't see how you get better odds on Hovland than Finau. Finau's won like 3 tournaments recently.
See if any of my bookies are listening to me and get the odds back to me quickly.
Oh, they are. Trust me. You're guys. You know how many guys you have? I got a guy. Mark's got guys.
I don't want a guy anymore. I want an app or 2. That's what I want when they're yelling at me at the pregame to who's going to score more. I want to be able to go to FanDuel or DraftKings or PointsBet or any of these sites and go, bang.
Right. When you're coaching third in your daughter's softball game, okay, and you miss sending the runner home. Why? Because you're placing a bet on your app. That's what you want to be doing. I know.
All right, quick question for you. Is this the end of Western civilization as we know it, or really cool? One of the things that's happened in the daughter's softball, we kind of play the same team all the time. The other team, a team mom, and I don't know where she has a speaker. They bring the whole cart with the chairs and everything they have is their tailgate stuff, if you will, their own bleachers, because there's no bleachers, so people are bringing their own lawn chairs and whatever to sit down.
Okay.
So one of the moms has a cart that she wheels the chairs in. I believe it's this mom. It's where the sound comes from, but now she has a speaker and is playing walk-up music for U8 softball games for her team. And I don't know if it's the end of Western civilization as I know it or the coolest thing ever. I haven't been able to figure it out yet.
I think it's fun. I think let's make this more fun.
I just want her to get a few more songs. It's the same 5 or 6 songs over and over.
Yes. That's when you want to walk over and go, listen, we're all in favor of you doing this. We just need to diversify it a little bit. Every kid's got to have a different song.
So long as the kids love it, I think. Which, do they?
Don't know if they notice.
Felipe, You need to learn something right now. Youth sports is not about the kids, okay? It's about the parents. That's what youth sports is all about.
Well, Mark is conflicted here, and I think the way to settle it is whether or not the kids approve it or not.
Once again, the kids
first,
are going to get a vote.
It's not about
the other team, first off, because they don't play the walk-up music when our team is batting. They only play it for the other team.
Right. You really are the road team in
every game.
Every game.
That's fine. And I've seen a little bit of dancing in the other dugout, but I've also seen them not paying attention and doing what, 8, 9-year-olds do, which is yell and scream a lot.
Listen, would it be okay then if for your daughter's team, could we take our phone and Spotify and can we just, find songs ourselves and hold them up in the air on loud? Okay. So that when they're walking up,
Now this speaker's loud. I mean, if I'm coaching third, I can hear every word of the song clearly.
Is it big?
I think it's in, you don't see it. I think it's in this cart that she brings.
It's hidden.
I haven't been able to figure out where the hell the speaker is.
Oh my.
But it's impressive.
Do we need to get a boom box like back in the day?
Oh boy.
The
John Cusack?
Exactly. Do we need to go Cusack here? In your eyes, the light, the heat. Your eyes, I am complete. Probably not the best walk-up song. It might freak a few people out, but you know what I mean.
Although Big Time on that album would have been a decent walk-up song back in the day.
Legendary Southwest Florida sportscaster Jay Severson, always with the boombox out on the golf course. I mean, do we need to go that route?
And it could just be one of the little Bushnell golf speakers. They're pretty. I mean, the little Wi-Fi speakers now are pretty good. So, but all I know is that there's walk-up music.
I think it's cool. I do. I think that's fun. I'm for that.
Now, I've noticed on the baseball field next to us, they also have, because there's 2 games always going on simultaneously, the little boys and the little girls. And I've heard the little boys at the same walk-up music. So we have walk-up music battling each little park. But one of the parents has the speaker with the microphone, because I've heard one of the parents on the boys' side, now batting number 2, David Moulton.
Oh, wow.
And he does it in full PA voice.
What does he think he is? It was this Jordan and the Bulls? I mean,
Yes.
Take it easy.
Yes. And again, I don't care. But I just get a kick out of the fact that it's being done.
I will say, you start adding all these elements, we're really going to start to add to the length of these games. I mean, we are.
David, really, the only thing that adds to the length of these games is how long it takes to get the catcher's gear on in between innings. That is really the most important thing.
Well, but I didn't know if the kids would start preening, well, I need to slow down here. I need to hear my song, need to hear so-and-so do the intro, 1 foot in the box. Hold on up. I gotta milk this.
I will say none of the team that we play against has done that. We do have one girl on our team that she is a human rain delay at the batter's box. She is David Ortiz up there, and I find it hilarious.
Rub some dirt, point to the sky.
Sorry, we got to bench you. Sorry. Nope. Sorry. In fact, I'd be the one in the bat. What's that noise? Pitch clock violation. 9-year-old. 9-year-old. Get her fanny back in the box. Come on up. That's a strike. Come on now. I will say, just quick sidebar, watch a little college baseball this year. They're trying to move a lot faster. I mean, it's almost as if somebody said, hey, you're going to get drafted and you're going to have to get used to playing and pitching faster. So maybe we should start doing this in college. I mean, the games are still longer than pro, but Mark, every game that I've seen either in person or on TV has been at a faster pace than previous years. JP Shadrick. He's a fast-paced guy. He'll be joining us next here on Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around and get it.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
All right. That's still squeaking.
Oh. Handyman Mark over here.
Huh?
Your handyman.
Well, it's still squeaking.
You got to respect the effort.
That's better. I don't hear squeaking now. Two things. You could take Zinger down. And you sent JP the link, right?
I did.
I know he's leaving after work today and he's going home, so.
I did.
R.W. Ramsey, so do we. So do we. Both. We'll try to have asked for copy to try to change the ads. If nothing else, we could come up with a new play of the day promo. But yes, us too. In fact, if we don't get new advertisers,
the show will be gone.
Right. So
there's that.
It's a shame. It's a pretty good show.
And it's on life support.
And considering what's out there, it'd be a shame if it went away. Because what's out there sucks. At least this is decent. Another slogan. Miller and Moulton. At least we're decent.
Yeah, we do. More than anything in the world. There's JP. Good morning, JP.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Hey, safe travels after today, okay? Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What's going on?
Nothing. Just talked with Zinger. Okay. Mark asked him coldest round he ever played in. He said he had a 6-layer round at a British one time.
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to the British in July, so let's not make it a 6-layer British.
Are you working it?
No.
Oh, you're just attending as a spectator.
Saturday, Sunday. I won lottery of all things. Like I applied for it and got it.
Awesome.
So
where is it this year?
Liverpool. So let's not get a 6-layer British. That would be bad.
In mid-July. Hello.
Yeah.
You'll take your Seattle weather, 63, cloudy, chance of rain, and get out of town, right?
Take some sleeves. That's fine. Yeah.
How's your off season going? Which, started on Tuesday. I know. Between the draft and rookie camp and what have you. So
yeah, I've just been sitting here twiddling my thumbs for 5 months.
I didn't know. I noticed I said it started on Tuesday.
No, it's been good. We've been doing football things. It's fun.
I know.
We got one more month, and then it's truly dead.
I know people have been asking us, how's the show? It's like, actually, we have a ton of to talk about. Maybe June, July, a little bit of August, but God bless Jimmy Butler and the Panthers.
Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
All things equal, it would have been better if it was the Lightning for us, but we'll take it.
Beggars can't beat choosers, Mark.
Damn right. You are damn right.
10 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
See, we go cool 70s detective show for our next guest, JP Shadrick, part of the Jags radio network. He also does play-by-play of college and pro football for Westwood One. He's moving up their depth chart, too. You're going to hear even more of them in the future, which is just awesome. He's a great guy. Follow him on Twitter at JP Shadrick, JP Shadrick. How are you?
I'm well, and first of all, the 70s detective show music, I don't know how accurate that is. I was born in the 80s, so, I was after all that.
No. It's just how cool you are.
I just wanted to say I was born in the 80s, and I might be the only one on this show that can say that. So I just wanted to
You
put that
are
out there.
certainly the only one that can say that. It's not even close.
Right.
It's the 70s, too, for both of us.
I was going to say we got two guys born in the 60s and one guy born in the 21st century. But besides that, hey, listen, we brought you on to normally bring you on to talk Jags. Now we want to bring you on because apparently there's a stadium situation going on here. Give everybody the Cliff Notes version as to what the deal is.
Well, the Jaguars have about 80 months left in their lease in Jacksonville that started in 1995. It's a city-owned facility. And nothing is out there yet, right? There's been no presentation from the Jags. There's been no city talk about what it is. It's just kind of been in the back burner, kind of simmering, if you will, for the last few years. I think the Jags have been working on some ideas. They've worked with a development firm recently to kind of firm some of those up. But there's been no official, hey, here's what we think as a team. And with the transition in the leadership in the city, there's nothing as of yet. They were, I think, waiting for the election to happen. That happened on Tuesday. So that's kind of where this thing is right now. The outgoing mayor made some comments the other day about the team possibly not playing for 2 years here, and that's way out in front of it. There's no stadium deal yet. So in order to know when a team would be leaving, if they're leaving at all, for a year or 2 or 4 or whatever the case would be, you have to have a deal in place and figure out what that is. So if there's anybody I trust in this matter, it's Jaguars president Mark Lamping and his track record of building stadium projects in the past. The guy was the president of the St. Louis Cardinals when they developed and built the new Busch Stadium, and was in the process of building the ballpark village around that. And then, of course, he left there and was hired by the Jets and Giants to be the CEO of the new Meadowlands project, MetLife Stadium. Built that project. And then once that was done, that stadium, of course, put New York in a good place to host the Super Bowl. Mr. Khan had bought the Jaguars and called both owners of the Giants and the Jets and said, hey, can I talk to Mark Lamping? And they were like, you should. Absolutely. And he came here in 2012, right after Mr. Khan bought the team. And I think his track record of success in building and having projects around stadiums is a big reason why I think early in the process he was kind of Mr. Khan's right-hand man. And that's proven out over time. They've already had some successful projects around the stadium. Daly's Place, the amphitheater, the football building's going up. They're building the Four Seasons on the river right now, and an office complex, mixed-use development there. The next step and the big one will be the stadium development around that as well. I think we're still a little bit out from seeing any drawings or any of that. We're just a little early.
Is the stadium outdated?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's the only stadium in the NFL, by the way, that has not had a full refurbishment or major renovation or one that's coming up. Of course, Buffalo's getting a new place. Superdome's been redone 7 million times.
Lambeau's
Kansas
had
City's
a lot
been
of
done.
additions.
Lambeau's, yeah, all that, right? This is the only one that basically has the same bowl. The guts are the same. The concourse is just as wide as it was in 1995 when it was a brand new place. But it's just kind of deteriorating over time. Yes. And it's, as Mark Lamping, I think, said in an article the other day, it's reaching the end or has reached the end of its useful life. There's got to be a solution somewhere. I think, like I said, we're very early on this. There's still now very early in the grand scheme of a long-term lease. We're towards the end of that. I think the Jaguars have been moving behind the scenes just to kind of get some ideas out there. It is a city-owned facility, though. So, hey, there's got to be two to tango, and there's a lot of discussions and presentations and drawings ahead, I'm sure.
Talking with JP Shadrick. He's part of the Jags Radio Network, also play-by-play for Westwood One College and Pro Football. Follow him on Twitter at JP Shadrick, SHADRICK. Well, listen, we've all witnessed from afar, there seems to be two options here. At some point, you got to knock some things down and refurbish the existing stadium. That's going to take a couple years. And, they did it at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees played a year and a half at Shea. The Giants played at a couple different places until the Meadowlands got built, or I guess we could do it section by section and the team could continue to play during some 4-year odyssey while each quarter of the stadium gets built, but nobody sits in it. I mean, that would seem to not be desirable. I mean, we went through this 30 years ago, right? I mean, while the stadium was being built, the Florida-Georgia game went on campus. I mean, you would think common sense, JP, that the Florida-Georgia game for a couple years and the Jags games for a couple years at some point are probably going to have to be played elsewhere, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, I could see the Florida-Georgia. Yeah, that makes sense. It's arguably the biggest event on the calendar in Jacksonville all year long, Jaguars included. I mean, they bring in extra seats for it. I mean, that's how big this thing is, and the build up to it and everything that goes with that. That's where I say, those comments from the outgoing mayor are a little premature. I think that's one of the options, is to go somewhere else for a couple of years. Another option, as you said, is to stay in it. Miami Dolphins stayed in it while they renovated Hard Rock. And, it was not the ideal, and it probably will take a little longer. But I think there are multiple options on the table. Going, as we've read other places, Gainesville's down the road, Orlando's down the road. How are there talks already of that? I can't tell you that. I have no idea. I'm not privy to those conversations. London is in play, obviously. I don't think for a full calendar, but they're playing 2 games there this year, and you'll get a good idea of how that would flow for a team and in the future. So, I think everything's on the table. I don't think anything's been eliminated yet. I don't think anything's been decided yet. That's the whole point. I think the discussions continue But I think it is a priority to have that game in Jacksonville long term. There's, I think, 2 more years left on that deal, option, at least for the teams. And I think the teams do very well in that game financially. I read in an AJC article, the Atlanta paper, that they're making more. Each team's making more off that game than they would at home, like $4.5 million. Right? They're making $4 million a game in Athens. The Georgia Bulldogs are, and the city's paying for their travel to get down here. I would like to think that game would stay here for a long time, and I know the Jaguars want it to. I know that they have included both schools in their preliminary, hey, here's some of our ideas. How does this work for you guys in the game and the future of the game and what you'll want as universities? And that's it's a partnership in that regard, because that is a big piece of what this city's fabric is about, is that Florida-Georgia game.
The only problem is the most important man in Georgia doesn't want the game played there anymore, and that's Kirby Smart. And that's, when you've won back-to-back natties, you have unbelievable power in the college football world, and Kirby has said he wants this game on campus. We'll see how this all plays out. JP, I've got to ask you, you mentioned London. When you hear a stadium lease and you hear it hasn't been done yet, there isn't any possibility of the Jags moving permanently, is there?
No way. No chance. That's not happening. The Jaguars in the city went in on the football building right next door to TIAA Bank Field. It's I forget the exact number, 160, let's say, $1 million, split down the middle. They're there. Jags are staying. Mr. Khan is developing the riverfront with the Four Seasons Hotel and an office building and the mixed use things. No, they're not going. They're gonna that's gonna be part of the DNA. That has not been secret. That they love having London on the resume. And in a case like this, hey, working out 2 games there, home and a road game, you get an idea. Mr. Khan wants to be an international brand. That's a pretty good way to do that, is to get in one of the great international marketplaces and do it for 10 days on the ground. So no, but they're not. No. They're not going to move to London.
All right, let's talk about the team for a second. We saw how they finished the season, obviously hot. And Trevor's entering year 3. And if he makes the jump from year 2 to year 3, the way he did from year 1 to year 2, this franchise got something special. How much better, forget Trevor's potential improvement, personnel-wise, how much better are they than when we last saw them? Has this been a good offseason for the Jags, or was this just keeping what we had together offseason?
Well, they weren't up against it. There weren't a lot of those guys that contributed last year that were truly on contract years. Evan Ingram might have been the only one, and he's a franchise tag guy now, so they figured that out at least for a year, okay? And they're working on a deal with that. So they didn't have to go like, hey, we got to pay all these receivers now. They already paid them last year. They're free agent guys. So, okay, they're there for a while. And then they add Calvin Ridley in a trade last year with the idea that he would be reinstated, and he finally was. And I guess the question is, how good is he going to be? Well, everybody else is pretty much the same, right? Kirk, Zay Jones, Travis Etienne. They've added a couple pieces in the draft, but they're young. We'll see. They look good so far in rookie mini camp running around, but you don't know. But the idea is that they can contribute in pieces to what they already had on offense last year. They have some questions on the offensive line. That's one thing that did change. The right tackle's gone. He's in Kansas City. So they drafted Anton Harrison in the first round. Sounds like he's going to jump in there right away. How long is the pending suspension for Cam Robinson, the left tackle? I think that's a question. There's no answer to that yet. How long does that play out? What's the future there long term? That's another question, I think, for the offseason. But probably a reason why they bring in Anton Harrison at the same time, just in case they have to get out of Cam Robinson's deal for whatever reason. And then on defense, they add some things. And, there was some of the fans were concerned they didn't add a corner early. They needed a cornerback. Well, I think the Jags believe in those guys on the outside that they have. And, this is going to be an offensive team. Doug Peterson's running the show. They have to score. They've got to score to keep up with Kansas City and Buffalo and the powers of the AFC. That's where their mind is now. And if that means giving up 30 a game and you score 35, a win's a win. There are no pollsters. A win is a win. So their idea is to score and score often and shoot for 30 points per game. The Chiefs led the league last year at just under 30 points per game, 29 and change. The Jags had 23.8 points per game. Another field goal a game, and guess what? You're in the top 4 in the league, and you're right there kind of competing with these teams. So I think that's the idea, is to score more and do enough on defense, improve the pass rush enough to get another takeaway a game to give the offense that possession and do it. And that was the mindset.
Could be the greatest home season to have season tickets. The Jags host the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Niners, besides their division games. It is a spectacular home schedule for the Jags. JP Shadrick works for the Jags and Westwood One. JP, enjoy your offseason. Thanks for your time, buddy. Take care.
Good to talk to you guys. And Mark, by the way, the Georgia head coach, I guess recruiting is going so poorly there that they need that extra game. I don't know about that. Come on, Kirby. Things are going fine.
No doubt.
See you guys.
See you, JP.
And that's coming from an Alabama alum right there. Okay. JP Shadrick, kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. I was talking to him the other day. Okay. Westwood One starting to divvy up their assignments. He may get the cocktail party this year. He's usually in London. Okay. The Jags usually go to London for when the cocktail party's in town. The Jags, I think, have their bye week that week or whatever. So
yeah, they're going to London one even earlier than that, right?
Yeah.
They're going for those 2 games earlier in the season. JP Shadrick joining us on Miller and Moulton. Tampa, St. Pete, Lake City, Port Charlotte, and Venice. We'll do this again tomorrow morning. The bonus hour in the 239 is next. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around and get it.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Adam, you think Jacksonville is going to spend $2 billion and build a brand new stadium? Yeah, I don't. Oh.
Adam, did you see superstar Billy Graham died yesterday? I thought of you when I read the article. Anytime I read a wrestling article, I think of you, Adam.
And Felipe, I just sent you a text.
Felipe?
I got you.
Okay.
I hear you.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The bonus hour, Miller and Moulton, on this Thursday. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Heat did it again. Jimmy Butler doing it again. We had his over-under at what? 30 and a half last night. We both went over. Mark thought the Celtics would win. I just had a feeling. I thought Heat's best shot to get Boston in Boston was game one. Turned out to be true because they had an amazing third quarter, outscoring the Celtics 46-25. Took a 12-point lead into the fourth, held on, won by 7. This is remarkable. You got to go back 35 years since we've seen, because like there's been runs before, the Seattle Sonics, Mark, in the late 80s had a miracle run where they went through the first 2 rounds. They got to the Lakers in the conference finals. They got swept. Denver Nuggets with Mutombo had a run one year. I will say the Hawks 2 years ago, getting to game 6 against Milwaukee, that was unexpected, but young team on the rise, that sort of deal. But we think you got to go back to Michael and the Bulls, and when they first kind of made a statement that, hey, we're going to be here for a while in 89. They were the 6th seed that year. And they took out a 57-win Cleveland team in the first round with the shot over Elo. Well, the Bucks this year won 58 games. And then they took out a 50-plus win Knicks team that won their division in the second round in 6. And that's what the Heat just did also. And they did it the exact same way, by the way. Chicago went in the Garden, took game 1, held serve at home, 1-6. That's exactly what the Heat did. And then, and Mark can vouch for this, Michael and the Bulls took game 1 in Detroit and won game 3 at home, and they were up 2-1 on a 60-plus win Pistons team in which it was their year. They're winning the NBA title this year. They had gone through the wars with Boston. They got to the finals the year before, lost a heartbreaker in 7 to the Lakers. This was their year. No one was going to deny them. This is Boston's year. They got to game 6 of the finals last year. They improved their depth. They're better this year than they were last year. They haven't had a banner in 15 years. They're winning this thing this year. Jimmy Butler said, I don't know. Maybe.
Interesting quote from Missoula after the game. I thought the first half was good. I thought we just let go of the rope in the third quarter, lost that sense of urgency. We were prepared, then we let go of the rope. We have to be prepared for when we do outplay them, that they're going to respond and we have to respond. You let go of the rope. I mean, no offense, dude, that's on you. If it's at halftime and you let go of the rope, then it's on you for not having them prepared to start the third quarter.
This is an interesting debate, though, because the coaches are it's funny. Jeff Van Gundy, I thought, had a very pithy but accurate statement the other day. He said it's a players' league, but the coaches are getting the blame. Now, it's coming from a former coach, but just take a look. The 3 teams that have won the most games over the last 3 years, all 3 of their coaches have just been fired. Milwaukee, Phoenix, and Philadelphia.
Who all bowed out far earlier in the playoffs than they were supposed to.
Right. But I think the debate that they're having in that league at this point in time, and we could debate other sports, is how much of it is on the coach? I mean, how much of the third quarter is on Missoula?
I think there were times he could have called timeouts when the 3 balls start going in and slowed the game down.
Agreed. Just like Doc Rivers, by the way, when the Celtics third quarter run in game 7 was happening, he kind of sat and watched.
I mean, in the second quarter, when Boston started going for a little bit, what's Spo do? Calls timeout.
Also, during that third quarter run for the Heat, he lost it on the bench. I mean, I don't know if you saw the clip, but he just threw his clipboard on the ground and walked away from his huddle. I mean,
yeah, but if they respond, okay, he gets credit for that. Okay, since they didn't respond, okay, it's a coach who's lost his poise and the team doesn't respond to him. I mean, it's just, do you agree with Van Gundy's quote, though? It's funny. It's a players' league, yet they're blaming all the coaches. I mean, I heard a former NBA player say, I never was motivated to play by a coach. He goes, don't get me wrong, certain coaches were better than others, but I'm a professional. We're in the playoffs. He said, I was motivated more. This was just a solid NBA player, not a great player. He said, I was motivated more to have to live up to playing with the great player, in which I'm like, I can't let that player down. He said, I never played to not let the coach down. I played to not let Kevin Garnett down. You know, I played not to let Jimmy Butler down. He played with Butler. You know, and Derrick Rose in Chicago. He said, I didn't want to let Derrick Rose down. I didn't want to let Kevin Garnett down. He goes, I love Tibbs. I love Doc. He goes, I never played for Tibbs or Doc. I played for Garnett and Rose.
Look, it's been a players' league for how many years, David? I mean, Michael Jordan got a coach fired. Magic Johnson got a coach fired. So let's quit acting like this is a phenomenon that's happened just in this new generation. We may not like some of the things about it, but coaches have been getting fired by players for 40 plus years.
It does seem as if the leash is a little shorter now, but that's true. I mean, Magic, won a title with a guy, and a year and a half later got him gone. No doubt about it.
So it's always been a players' league to me. That's a little bit of a coach serving coaches with that comment.
Okay. All right.
And I like Van Gundy, but that's a coach serving coaches.
That's why I asked. I've just,
the bigger problem with Missoula is the fact that, for whatever reason, whether it's Tatum, whatever the sets they're running, they couldn't get their best player to take a shot in the fourth quarter.
Well, one of the reasons that they think Doc Rivers got fired in that fateful final 4.5 minutes of Game 6 in Philly, Embiid didn't take a shot. How does that happen? Now, I understand there are certain players in which you have to get them the ball, as opposed to, like, it's real easy. If LeBron doesn't hoist a shot in the final 3-4 minutes, you really have to wonder what is going on, because LeBron's the one bringing it over half court. But at least with Embiid, it was like, well, at least they got to get him the ball. Maybe Boston deserves credit denying him the ball, et cetera, et cetera. It's not hard to get Tatum the ball.
No, and I know Brogdon had a nice game last night, but the offense in the fourth quarter seemed to be running through a guy off the bench when you got one of the top 5 players in the league and you got Brown out there. I'm sorry. I don't want Brogdon to be my main choice of driving to the hoop.
So the Heat do it again. Got the Celtics talking to themselves a little bit.
They certainly Tatum. I think it was about 3.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes left. There was a second steal in a row by Butler that I'm like, oh man. And then Tatum after that walks twice.
You're right. He travels on back-to-back possessions. I don't think I've ever seen that.
When have you seen back-to-back travel? When's the last time there have been back-to-back traveling calls in the NBA?
Crazy.
You don't think Jimmy Butler was letting them know, do you? Down the stretch? You don't think Jimmy was letting them know how much he was struggling?
By the way, he hits that 3 that rattles off the rim and goes in, and
It could have been your clutch play of the day today. I was actually surprised. Not that the Mets home runs wasn't worthy, but that 3 was the final dagger in that game.
And he looks over to the Miami bench and just winks, smiling throughout that whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, there's a reason Miller and Moulton love this guy.
Love him. Take a bullet for him. I love everything about him. I love players who, when they come out on the ice, the field, the court, and they just look at you and they go, we're winning today, right? By the way, remember, Jimmy Butler's looking and treating the Celtics as an 8.5-point dog last night. And he is looking at them going, you guys don't have a shot in hell tonight.
This is what he does. This is the Jimmy Butler experience here.
Well, and it's amazing. You know, you have to give Riley credit too for putting a team around him that works with him, that they all are in unison with how they play and that they feed off of Butler, because obviously not all teams have fed off of Jimmy Butler. Why, we don't know.
Right.
But this team takes his fearlessness and they live for it.
And a lot of things that I see NBA teams doing nowadays, along with just firing their coaches and pointing the blame on something, is freaking out at the trade deadline and just entirely swapping their roster, going for something that they think they can have, but they don't actually have. The Heat did not make any moves at the deadline. They stuck with their team. They knew what they had. They knew what they were capable.
Well, in fairness,
they got Kevin Love. That's it.
Yeah, but they didn't really have the resources to make a deal. They don't have the picks. They didn't have cap room, and they didn't have anybody on their team that anybody else wanted. I mean, it's funny. They were kind of stuck to make it work.
But Kevin Love's help. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, totally. And it's nice that Kyle Lowry, after being in mothballs for a year and a half, has shown up. The guy they signed has finally shown up.
But my point is that from the last guy on the bench to Eric Spoelstra, they have faith in their guys.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it is remarkable if you just follow the Jimmy Butler journey. Like in Chicago, it was Derrick Rose's team. And the reason that it stopped working is Rose blew out his knee. I mean, who knows what would have happened in Chicago with that group and an improving, developing Jimmy Butler if Rose hadn't hurt his knee. Okay, but then remember, he goes to Minnesota. They hadn't made the playoffs in 15 years. Jimmy Butler takes them to the playoffs, and they're like, we got to get rid of this guy. We can't handle him. There, other organizations are like, yeah, we'll keep him and we'll worry about the other 14. He's our guy. Minnesota's like, oh, no, can't handle him. Get him out of here. Maybe it's why the T-Wolves are what they are. Then in Philadelphia, you know, I mean, look at what they had. They had Embiid, Simmons, J.J. Redick, Tobias Harris, and Jimmy Butler on the same damn team. And they let Jimmy Butler walk? Holy blank.
Well, and that one obviously cost the GM his job.
Well, it should.
Darn right. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when still, and what's on tap, still ahead right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone, on 5th Avenue in Naples.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Blah, blah, blah. You know, sometimes it's really hard to find a. Where was someone chopped in a good there? You got a link? Because I got crap. Whoa.
What?
Pipe Dream is partnering with Wendy's to build tunnels, an underground delivery system that will allow guests to receive their food in seconds when you're doing pickup orders.
You subscribe to The Athletic, right?
Yeah.
And they got that new thing now where they send out headlines. They call it the Pulse.
Yes.
Felipe, you would love the sub headline from The Athletic. Jimmy Butler is a god. Holy.
Wow. The Jets have the longest drought in the NFL to make the playoffs. Who has the second longest?
Denver.
You are correct.
Haven't since Peyton and them won the Super Bowl.
I mean, if you would have said the Detroit Lions have made the playoffs more recently than the Denver Broncos, you would win that bet. There are only 5 teams with longer than 5-year droughts. Carolina, Atlanta, Detroit, Denver, and the Jets.
Carolina and Atlanta's drought is 5, right?
Yes.
Is Detroit 6? And Denver 7.
It's the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. They started playing, what, a half an hour ago, the PGA?
That is correct.
It was delayed over an hour and a half because it was too cold. Period. It was below freezing. And then it was freezing. And then it was barely above freezing. I think it's still in like the upper 30s right now, but high in the upper 50s today.
Oh, it's balmy, David. It's already up to 43 in Rochester.
Oh, hell. Had Paul Azinger on last hour. Mark asked him coldest round he ever played. He said, quote, "Oh, I had a 6-layer round at a British Open once." Think about that. That's mid-July. Keep putting. I think I should put another layer on. I don't know. Everybody probably won't get their rounds finished today. We'll see whether or not they can make up that hour and a half, hour 45, and get everybody done by the end of business tomorrow. So, we don't have any carryovers on Saturday morning.
It's about the only thing that we can tell you because no one's really the first threesomes finished a hole. That's where we are right now at the PGA.
Well, and Zinger said par 70, 7,400 yards, 2 par 5s. There's really no soft spot on the course.
And he just talked about the first 3 holes all being really hard and how difficult this tournament will be to start and the mental makeup of the players in this tournament, how they can handle the start and how important he thinks it is to getting off to a good start in this tournament.
So Mark's got Tony Finau, and I got Cam Young, 32-1, upstate New York guy. So the first ever win it would be, not just major, it'd be the first ever win. But we're both playing the PGA Championship first ever major card, which happens so often. The 2 PGAs at Oak Hill in this century were won by Jason Duffner and Sean McKeel. It was their first major for both. They never won another. Now you go back, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, Hall of Famers won. Trevino, Jack, Curtis Strange. But this century at Oak Hill, when they played 2 PGAs, first timers. We had JP Shadrick on last hour. We were just talking about there's an issue in Jacksonville, between now and the end of the decade. They got to get a new stadium and, how they're going to go about it. They're going to be able to do it when the team stays, the Florida-Georgia game stays, or they're going to have to, move the games for a couple years. So you decide, Mark. You're Georgia. I'm Kirby. You know where I'm coming from. I want the game on campus every other year. But JP just talked about the money. Apparently, a Georgia home game, they make $4 million. Well, when they play the game in Jacksonville, they get all their travel costs taken care of, and they make $4.5 million. But obviously, they make $4.5 million annually. This game goes on campus, you're only making that $4 million every other year. So there's a $5 million difference. So I'm coming to you saying, I want this game on campus. Are my 2 national championships worth $5 million every 2 years?
Well, first off, David, the $5 million's already made up for with the new television deal with the SEC. The $5 million's tip money now for the SEC. So the first thing I would say is that in the grand scheme of things, they're losing a little money right at the verge of gaining all of this money. But the part of this that I think Kirby's missing on is that most Georgia people that I know love the cocktail party being played in Jacksonville. I'm not getting the sentiment from the Georgia fan the way I'm getting it from Kirby. And I don't know what you hear. I don't know how many Georgia fans that you have in and around you, but the history of the game being in Jacksonville, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, all of those things resonate with both fan bases.
Well, I've never heard more than 3 Gator fans ever in favor of moving the game. And mostly it's because they've had so much damn success in the game, they don't want to change it. I used to hear, Mark, from Georgia fans that would be willing to consider moving the game because, they've gotten their butts kicked here a lot in the last 30 years. But now that they're winning, I don't know if I want to change anything. Now that we're really good, why do we need to change anything? And I will say, now that I live in Jacksonville, that there are far more Georgia people here than, like, I never fully got the feeling, that this was like a melting pot between Florida and Georgia fans. Until I moved here, it was always like, yeah, I'm with Spurrier. We love having the game in Jacksonville. We have all the damn advantages. It's a road game for the Dogs, But now that I'm here and I see the license plates and I see the flags on cars, and granted, they won back-to-back national titles, so everyone's out in full force. All right. And I fully realize that if you drive 30 miles north, you cross the border into Georgia. It's 30 miles. And there are some, major coastal towns that are right over the border, etc. Even the local news here covers news over the border in Southeast Georgia. I know. All right. So I am feeling much more Georgia than I ever felt in my 20 plus years living in Florida before.
Well, you're finally in Florida.
Well,
you made it to the South after all these years.
Right. Either that or I've made it to the South for the first time, and I used to live in Florida. One of the other. Depends how we want to do this. But what I have always thought, if this was going to happen, it was actually not going to be Kirby's recruiting argument. Because really, not having the Florida game home every other year is going to cost you how many recruits, really? I thought, Mark, it was just going to be, man, not having the Florida game at home. You know what? There are years in which our home schedule sucks. And you would just have boosters. Remember, they only get 40,000 tickets. Well, at Athens, they get 88, 90,000. Okay, so there's only, they're not even making half the people at a normal Saturday game happy by having the game in Jacksonville. And I just thought, Mark, that there'd be too many people who give money to Georgia athletics that would just be like this year, Mark, we've gone through it. Their home schedule this year is a joke. Honestly, this is the year in which, if you're a Georgia season ticket holder, give away your tickets. This is a waste of your time and money.
By the way, for those of you trying to question what David's talking about, they open at home with Tennessee Martin. Then they play Ball State, followed by South Carolina at home, UAB the next week. They travel to Auburn, then they host Kentucky. And I think they get Missouri and Ole Miss. That's their home schedule. With 4 of the games being before October the 7th. Or October the 7th and before.
No Florida, no Tennessee, no Auburn, no Georgia Tech at home. Their 4 biggest rivalry games, none of them are at home this year. And obviously, that's your schedule every other year. If I'm a Georgia season ticket holder, that's my beef. Why did Jeremy Foley want the LSU game as the crossover? Because he wanted to be able to have Florida State one year, LSU the next. He needed a game on his schedule to sell tickets and sponsorship packages.
And it's easy right now for the Dogs because they're on top of the football world. But when things are not number one in the country every year, that's a tough schedule to sell to your fan base. It really is. Miller and Moulton. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was the day when and what's on tap. That's how we finish the show right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
All the way to that night against Chicago in the play-in. Did you think then that something like this would be possible?
Damn right. I did. Damn right we did. And the best part about it is we still don't care what none of y'all think, honestly speaking. We don't care if you pick us to win. We never have. We never will. We know the group of guys we have in this locker room. We know that Coach Bo puts so much confidence and belief in each and every one of us. Coach Pat as well. And so our circle's small, but this circle got so much love for one another. We pump constant confidence into everybody. And we go out there and we hoop. We play basketball the right way, knowing that we always got a chance.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. The home stretch of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Pat Kerwin, Kurt Becker joining us tomorrow. Some NFL and Preakness talk at the very least. Going to try to talk a little Panthers and Heat with guests as well. But that's just what we have locked in already. So there.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start in 1912 today. The Philadelphia Athletics rout the Detroit Tigers 24-2. The Tigers used amateurs in the game to protest Ty Cobb's suspension. Love to know where they got him from. Hey, you want to play baseball today? We're playing the A's. Today in 1920, Man o' War avenges his only loss in the Preakness, defeating
Upset
by 1.5 links. Upset beat Man o' War at Saratoga in August the year prior. Man o' War's only defeat, hence an upset. Today in 1933, the first Major League Baseball game is announced for July 6th at Comiskey to be played as part of the Chicago World's Fair and the fans to pick the players. Also today in 33, FDR signed the Tennessee Valley Act. It's the reason we built dams all over the country. TWA begins commercial service today in 1934. Today in 56, Mickey Mantle hits a home run from both sides of the plate. Only the third time he had done it.
He really was pretty good. Won the Triple Crown and everything.
Ray Dolby founds Dolby Laboratories in London today in 1965. Or if you're a Spinal Tap fan, that is in Dudley. The last Beatles LP, Let It Be, was released in the U.S. today in 1970. Henry Richard scores twice as the Canadians beat the Blackhawks in Game 7 in 71 for a 4-3 series victory.
That was Dryden as a rookie. You know, Chicago was considered the better team, and they said that Kenny kind of stole that cup for the Canadians.
Yacht Rock Radio is happy about today because Looking Glass released their single Brandy today in 1972.
You're a fine girl.
You remember the song The Streak?
Oh, yeah.
Number 1 today in 1974.
God, the drugs we did in that decade are off the charts.
Mount St. Helens erupted today in 1980. Yari Curry ties a record for points in a Stanley Cup final game with 3 goals and 2 apples in a 7-2 win for Edmonton over the Boston Bruins today in 1990. Braveheart debuted today in 1995. Shrek debuted in 2001. And it was 21 years ago today that the first Ward Gotti fight happened.
Oh, wow. What a trilogy. What a trilogy.
Pope John Paul II, Jack Whitaker, and Jimmy Superfly Snuka all would have been celebrating birthdays today.
Whitaker, who called the patrons at Augusta, quote, an unruly mob.
They didn't get rid of him for it, though.
No, they didn't. But afterwards, the announcers were urged never to, well, be honest again.
Brooks Robinson is 86 years old today.
And he just made a diving stop going to his left.
And it may have been against this guy, Reggie Jackson, who's 77 today.
You know how much money, we've talked about this. You know how much money you could win, okay, asking people, did Reggie ever play for the Orioles? In between the A's and the Yankees, he played 1 year in Baltimore. Nobody remembers it.
Yari Curry and Yannick Noah are each 63. Marty McSorley is 60. Rob Bass is 56. Tina Fey is 53. Singer Jack Johnson is 48. And Vince Young is 40. What did I miss, David?
No, man, you all over it.
All right.
People forget how big that whole Mount St. Helens thing was. I think like 60 people died. I mean, it was, we don't have a lot of volcanoes in this country that,
Not in the continental 48, that's for sure.
No. So,
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Fort Myers Beach. Paul Azinger was just talking about Ian. Bob Campbell had to evacuate his Fort Myers Beach home during Ian. He had to swim to safety. He noticed two branches poking from the water down the road from his house. He grabbed one, grabbed the other, and realized that he had a spot. Logged himself in this tree for 5 hours. He doesn't know if he'd be alive today without the tree. When he returned to the beach 3 months after Ian, he noticed the tree was cut down. He reached out to the woodturners of Southwest Florida, and the group enthusiastically agreed to turn Bob's tree into different items at no cost. So now he's got a bowl, a pen, a vase, and other items still being made from the tree that saved his life. Good for Bob.
Cool.
For the bad, we go to Henderson, Kentucky, where these criminals might need to work on some things because the Evansville Police Department have arrested a man accused of burglarizing a Goodwill. Witnesses noticed someone hopped a fence going into the factory located at the address. Officers had to use a stun gun to subdue the suspect, begging the question why one would rob a Goodwill.
That is a good question.
Finally, the ugly. We go to North Dakota, David.
What?
Where a North Dakota man has been indicted by a grand jury on charges of stealing a pair of ruby red slippers worn by Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz. The shoes were stolen in 2005, recovered 5 years ago, but no arrests were made at the time. Terry Martin was indicted Tuesday with 1 count of theft of major artwork. By the way, do you want to know what Judy Garland's ruby red slippers are worth? Apparently she wore several different pair, but there are only 4 authentic pairs that remain.
50 grand?
Try 3.5 million.
Holy.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 18th, 2023.
You don't think that person knew it was worth that much, right? I mean, God forbid you break off the heel. I mean,
they broke into a museum, broke through a glass case and stole them. I think they had a pretty good idea of what they were worth.
It is tough to resell that, though. I mean, okay, it's great. We got it. How do you resell it?
The dark web, David. The dark web.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know.
I'm not a criminal. I have no idea where you sell stolen items.
That everybody knows is stolen. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know how you do this. We got an idea. I want to steal this. Okay, great. What are we going to do after we steal it? Put it on the mantle? Wear it around the house? What? 6 baseball games today, 4 of them in the afternoon, including both the Rays and the Marlins. Rays finishing up the 3-game series against the Mets. They're finally favored in a game, a slight favorite at 1 o'clock. Marlins going for the sweep against the Nats. They're a solid favorite, minus $1.50. PGA, it's on ESPN Plus until 1. Streaming until 1. On the 4-letter network from 1 to 7. My guess is, by the way, they're not going to want to go much beyond 7, even though there'll be golfers on the course, because they got this whole Western Conference Finals thing that they're televising on the mothership. But the game doesn't tip till 8:30. But my guess is the ads start at 8, if you know what I mean. I think maybe there's a chance, Mark, that golf could get extended in the 7 o'clock hour. But I would think that 7:30 at the latest, they're like, get this thing off and start the NBA pregame stuff where we're selling for big bucks. But 8:30 ESPN Lakers Nuggets. Nuggets a 5.5-point favorite.
Yeah, Sunset in Rochester, New York's 8:30 p.m., David. They'll play until they can't play anymore.
I understand, but I'm just saying, how long will it get televised on ESPN?
I think you're accurate with 8 o'clock.
Okay. Nuggets, by the way, unbeaten at home in the playoffs, 7-0. Do they continue that, Mark?
No. I think the Lakers are going to get one. Hopefully for them, they figured something out in the second half against the Nuggets where they outscored them pretty substantially after blowing the first half.
And I thought this was going to be largely a home team series. I have the Nuggets winning tonight, going up 2-0, but I also think the series returns to Denver at 2-2. Hockey tonight. Both teams have had some time off. Will that affect either team's sharpness tonight? Panthers on the road in Carolina against the Canes, game 1 of the conference final. 8 o'clock TNT. Carolina a solid favorite in the series and the game, if you want to bet accordingly. Panthers 6-1 on the road. 6 wins in a row.
How do you bet against the Panthers?
I wouldn't, even though Carolina's 5-1 at home in the playoffs. I mean, and they disposed of the Devils, man. Took care of them in 5.
I think Carolina's the better team, but I'm going to take Florida tonight.
So I listened to a hockey analytics guy. We've had him on the show, Mike Kelly, NHL Network. And he said, take it for what it's worth. He goes, because I've been wrong on half the playoff series so far. He goes, so, take analytics for what it's worth. But he said, the numbers are startling as to the top-notch scoring chances the Panthers are giving up versus the goals they're giving up. He said, you look at the Bruins and Leafs numbers. He said the Panthers are actually bottom 3 in the playoffs defensively in many a defensive metric in terms of scoring chances, top-notch scoring chances, etc. And he goes, but they got Bob, and he's on a roll. And the other thing he said, which I thought was interesting, Mark, apparently they rate, let's just say expected goals based on how the game played out and what have you, that they, after the game, they said, you guys should have scored 3.4 goals and you only scored 2. So the goalie there, if it's more than a goal, they said the goalie stole the game.
Okay.
Bobrovsky is leading in that category so far in the playoffs.
It's not much of a surprise.
And so he just said, is this one of those deals? Is this John Sebastian Jaguar from 20 years ago? Is this a Patrick Waugh year in 93 with the Canadians? Is this, 4 weeks from now, are we going to hand Bob the Conn Smythe? And it's just, hey, it was one of those runs.
Well, he's certainly the leader in the clubhouse for the Conn Smythe right now, and it's not, I don't think it's close. But the 2 best goaltenders left are the guy in Dallas and the guy in Florida.
Correct. The Vegas guy, by the way, this is a fascinating story. I mean, they're on the guy who in training camp was their 4th goalie. This guy wasn't even going to start at the A. And this is the guy that's in between the pipes for them right now. So does this guy, does the clock strike midnight for Vegas's goaltending? Because this should be a big edge.
Yeah, they're playing a team that plays defense. They didn't play a team that played defense in the last series.
So everybody's picking Carolina. People are torn on the Western Conference Finals. I'm going with Dallas.
I love Dallas. I think it's going to be Dallas and Florida. I'm going to take the 2 best goaltenders.
The coaching storylines in this series are spectacular. Peter DeBoers is the head coach in Dallas. He was fired from being the head coach in Vegas, and he took him to 1 or 2 conference finals and got fired. You got Bruce Cassidy, who's the coach in Vegas. All right. He took the Bruins to a Stanley Cup final and the playoffs every year, and he got let go, and now he led Vegas to the best record in the West. You got Paul Maurice with the Panthers, who coached the Canes twice, and he actually coached Rod Brindamore with the Canes. Who's the coach of Carolina?
Who was their captain and now their coach. Should be a terrific series in the East. These two teams like to hit it. Should be very physical. We've said it all along. 47 people are going to watch this series, but they're going to get entertained by riveting hockey. We'll talk about that tomorrow, as well as look forward to another day of playoffs. Miller and Moulton, have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's